Dallas. Welcome to Tit for Tat, This and That. I'm Alvin. And today we are going to be having a panel discussion with the Short Stack Revolution. Bugs the God, Miss Stevie with Daytime, Styled by Stevie Daytime. Joseph is joining us, Jay, and Jay up in New York. And Harold, he'll be in the comments section down there, and also Deshaun pop in here later. Today we are going to be talking about colorism in the Black het community, the Black gay or queer, LGBT, however you want to say it, in the heterosexual community. Hey, Miss Stevie.
Hi, Short Stack family. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
What's going on? How
I
was
am
y'all?
doing
Before we
wonderful. How is everyone doing?
doing good. Before we get started, I saw your show today, Miss Stevie. That was fire.
I tried to hold back everything that I wanted to say.
Oh Lord. Okay, there we go. Come on,
There
God.
you go. What'd you say, Miss Stevie?
I was saying that everything I wanted to say, I can say now. I had to put my seatbelt on earlier with Daryl. So
Yeah, you kind of let loose a little bit. You let loose a little bit in there. You did let loose a little bit. But you're gonna save most of the fire for the show tonight.
yes.
All right. Um,
Steve, I
so
think you
we're
got
gonna.
a echo in your background, I think.
I think that's Miss Stevie or either.
Yeah. I think it's
Is it me,
no, it's Stevie.
Miss Stevie?
Oh, okay, I'm here. Let me
You got
try.
an echo?
Oh my God. Can y'all hear me now? Is it an echo
Yeah.
still or
No, the echo's gone.
It's going. It's going. Yep.
okay?
All right. So, Bubs, how was your weekend? I know we talked about it a little bit before the live started, but
hmm
you know, the people out
Uh,
there didn't hear that. Just me and Joseph heard it.
correct. Mine was good. I've been spending the majority of my time working on the project for again, blame it on the dress. I
Right.
had one idea, but using Chat GPT, it's really been going into a different direction. So I'm very excited about it. I'm low key nervous because I feel like if I put this shit on my channel the way that it is written and the way that I envision it, I might get a strike. I don't know, but I think it's worth doing that so that we can have the real conversations and we can actually change shit within the Black community. We got to do something radical. So I'm very excited for y'all to see that. Stay tuned, and when y'all watch my shit, I hope y'all roll something up because y'all gonna need it. Because the way that shit gonna be set the fuck up, yeah, y'all gonna have to really show how strong y'all really are in reference to your self love. No shade, but that's it. I'm excited. But yeah,
Well, you already know, but Joseph probably don't know, but you and Miss Stevie already know. But I got 3 strikes on our show from last week. I got
wait,
three.
what?
Yeah, I had gotten three copyright ID strikes on the show from last week. But
hmm
then I went in and contested it, and then YouTube and the owners of the videos that we use, the videos we used on the Holocaust, that's the one that got us the strikes. Because you remember the Anarchist podcast, when he had came in and he was afraid the stuff that he was saying was going to
hmm
get my channel striked or shut down, or whatever,
hmm
just because of his opinion and what he was saying. But they actually did not strike me for anything that he said or what we were talking about. It was the video, parts of the video was owned by somebody else, and so I
Right.
just wrote to them, and then they released it. They released the videos for me to use with no issue, and then so YouTube they took all 3 of the strikes off.
Well, that's awesome. Especially for you to reach out and they actually get back to you at a in a timely manner. Because in some cases that doesn't happen. So that's good.
Right. So, so hopefully, hopefully yours, if, I mean, if it does get striked, you probably just go in there and contest it and see if they can, remove the copyright strike or copyright ID, because because the video from last week, I had to re-upload it because, I went in and edited it out and took out those 3 sections that they were talking about. I went and edited it out. So, it actually took the video down, about 30, 40 minutes or so. And so we had already gotten like quite a few views on that video, but I had to, once they took the copyright strike off, I went back and uploaded the whole new video. And so it's getting views now, but the original one had a lot of views, but I got it locked now, so nobody could even see, they can't even see that one, but they can see the whole other video now.
So let me tell you something. If they strike it, I don't give a damn. Somebody gonna see it, whether it's on Rumble, whether it's on damn OnlyFans. I'm gonna find a way to get that bitch out. No shade, but I'm just excited. But yep.
Yeah, because it's they didn't on Rumble they didn't copyright it. X didn't copyright it. Facebook didn't copyright it. Rumble did not copyright it, but YouTube they did strike it. But now it's the whole thing is available again. So hopefully we don't get struck on this one because I got a couple of videos here, but they're chopped up. I don't have the whole stuff on here. I just got them chopped up and did little clips and edits. Hopefully that helps from getting any strikes.
Right.
So our topic today is going to be on colorism in the Black, queer, heterosexual communities. And as usual, y'all just feel free to stop me at any point, and if it's something y'all want to talk about in between it, or I'll stop it if it's something I want to say, and we'll have our discussion, and then we'll wait on the other ones to come in here, pop in here later. And anybody else, and all of you out there who are watching and who are going to watch us later, please go over and subscribe to Bubs the God's channel. He's got a lot of great content over there. He's got his life story over there too. He's also got his parents in there, and just a lot of great content over there. It's fire, and he will definitely entertain you. And then this, Style by Miss Stevie's Daytime. She interviews everybody all over this. Seems like she interviews everybody all over the world, because last week I was in one of her lives, and I think the person was in like Turkey or Pakistan or somewhere. Where were they, Miss Stevie? Did she fall out again?
No, it's too early.
No, I'm here. Yes, the person is from Turkey. The person was from Turkey. So I've interviewed basically just about everybody that's in the industry, just about.
Yeah, Vanessa Williams, and you were interviewing Joe today, and with this series, I think he's on season 2 or 3, right?
Yes, season 3, 4, 5 of Talks with Myself, and which is a good groundbreaking show, and it talks about everything involving the LGBTQ community. So I wanted to highlight that even more. And shout outs to Roger Amius Jr., OME Pro TV here on YouTube, so that you can go and check it out, because it covers a lot of topics that are within our community, from SA to desirability, to depression, to mental health. All of those things are covered in that show. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, your show was good. Y'all covered a lot of stuff.
Again, I had to keep that seatbelt on though. I'll save it for the night.
You know what? He kept wanting you to to elaborate more too. That actor you had on there, the actor. Daryl, he wanted you to elaborate, go into it a little bit more. You said, no, I'm saving this for our panel discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And what about you, Joseph? How was your week? What's going on with you up in New York?
Nothing, just chilling. I was in Houston 2 weeks ago, just chilling. My last contract ended, so I'm waiting to hear back about a new client. And other than that, just get ready to travel. Go DC on Friday, and then Miami, then PVR after that.
Yeah, I'll be in Miami with Joseph and the rest of them on what the 6th through the 9th, I think it is. And then and I just got back from Houston actually last night. We were down there for the we was down there. Went to my friend graduate. She graduated from medical school, Hannah, and we were down there for that. And then we partied and Keith and them, they were in Greece, so I didn't see them. Joseph knows Keith and them, Keith and Dexter also, but they were in Greece, so I knew they were in Greece, so I didn't even bother them. And then weird thing is, I actually went over and saw my ex. He lives down there in Silsbee, Texas now. And then so me and my friends all drove over there, and we went down and saw him and his mother, and we had a little conversation, and then we went out last night, and partied a little bit. So, like I say, I got back and I was tired. but, but anyway, that was my week. But what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna start off with this first video. It's called some little clips from Imitation of Life, and it starts off when she was a child, and it'll pop up into when she was an adult, and it kind of gives you an idea of different aspects of colorism. Because the next video that's on colorism also, and but also on passing, passing for white, or trying to pass for white or whatever. And then it gives you two different type of aspects, but there's all type of colorism out there in this universe, and to explore. But anyway, let's get started here, and then stop me at any point if it's something y'all want to chime in on. And and as we're watching this this video, hey, kind of chime in on these little subtle, clues. I mean, or whatever that like white people when they see, how they don't, how they they think like you're like these kids, like somebody, they don't know that somebody's passing or whatever, but they assume like people, how black people are their maids and servants, and instead of thinking out the box, they just blurt out what they're saying. Oh, what she's getting ready to say here next, but they just blurt out these little things of, the shock that they have when they realize that a black person could have, has a child that looks white or you know what I mean?
It's the fact for me, real quick, that this little white girl didn't learn at a young age what white privilege was, because she told her mama that she wanted to play, and her mom said, "Okay, just a little while longer," and ran the fuck off after your ass been lost. Come through, white privilege.
And the thing about it is too, they're up in New York, so when they were a little bit more progressive, even though it was they had their racist and ways and stuff up there too. If this had been down in the South, it would have been a totally different story. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have been running around playing with that little black girl. Not at this time.
I was kind of scared because when the police came, I was like, "What they gonna do? Crucify her ass?" But I saw everybody kind of intermingling or whatever. So I was like, "Okay, it's progressive." But like you said, down south, hell no,
Oh,
that
yeah.
black woman did it. She stole the damn child.
Right. Yeah, they're a little bit more progressives up there where you're at, Joseph. Or you want me to call you Jay since that's the name you got up here?
It's all good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if it had been in the South, this might have this whole thing right here would have played out a lot differently.
Mm-hmm.
Probably been lynchings and every damn thing. Y'all see that look?
Mm-hmm.
You see that look of startled surprise, like
That's your child? But you ain't had no problem talking about some. You want to come, clean my house? Want to be my maid? That wasn't no problem then.
Exactly. That prejudice right before you even hit the scene is prejudice. You thinking something that you don't even know, and then when you ask the woman, "That's your child," that's what they do. It's the backhanded compliments.
But
right.
can I say something? I want to be the devil.
You say anything you want, Joseph.
Well, of course, everyone has unconscious bias, but factually, during that time, that would have been rare to meet a black person with a white child that's theirs. So
Understandable. Understandable. Yep.
that's just that would have been surprising to anyone, even the black people,
Yep.
because they assumed that she was a nanny too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's day
you're
and
right.
right,
time we're living in. It'd have been different if this was like the 70s,
Mhm.
maybe. Then it was more interracial stuff happening. But the
Right.
time that movie's supposed to have been set in, that's like the late 40s, early 50s,
right.
almost
Mhm.
unheard of.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think, and this is one of my favorite movies. I've seen this like a zillion
Oh,
times.
okay, cool.
I have
Mhm.
to.
But about
Awesome.
the movie, and this is actually the remake. The original movie was like in 19 like 20 something. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it would have been even more shocking then. So I just think
But you
that,
know
Mm.
what?
but
I
this,
didn't I didn't like the original one as much as I like this is my favorite one. I've
yeah,
seen
this is
the
a
other
better,
ones that they have showed, but I didn't like them the way I like this one.
yeah, this is a better
Mhm.
version of it.
Yeah.
It's just the date and time. That's why she was surprised, and people unconscious
Understandable.
bias, especially when you only used to seeing people in one dynamic.
Hmm.
It's like sometimes people, if they in that day and time they meet a black doctor, they'd be shocked. Like, no, they do exist. Just because you haven't met one doesn't mean that they're not existing. I think that's
Right.
a lot of things with white people. They have limited views of thinking about things, especially when it comes to people who are not white.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. Yep. And to your point, like you said, I absolutely agree. Like in the beginning, she said, "Oh, you're taking care of her," so she was already setting up the tone like you were, like she was a maid. So to your point, that definitely makes sense. I guess
Right.
from me and Queen Stevie's perspective, it's just the fact of like even though you've seen different variations of the movie, it's like the energy kind of still somewhat the same because we having these same conversations today, and it's kind of like, damn, we didn't learn back then when the original came out, then we had the remake that made it nicer to make it more understandable, and now we still here in 2025. So I think that was kind of like the perspective of where I was coming from. But to your point, for the context of the film and stuff like that, like I do
Hmm.
agree. I do agree. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So when I was little, we did that same experiment with my white friends, my little white friends I had. We cut ourselves, pricked ourselves to see if the blood was the same, if it was different for black people and white people.
Oh wow.
Some of the same, some of this crazy stuff, was going on when I was a little kid. That happened. That happened. Lied and told her mother she was working at the library. She's going to great extents to cover up her blackness. So what she just did to her mother there, my brother, the one that's under me, he did a similar thing just like that to me and my mother one time. We were this was a long time ago, but we were downtown Cincinnati, and he was with his white friends because
Mhm.
he only hangs with like white people. So he's kind of he's which I've told you before. He's a colorist also, but he did that, and he saw us coming, and he was with his white friends. And as we were walking, he saw us. He turned around, and he went a totally different direction. Because he didn't want to. And the weird thing is, you know, even though he's light skinned, my mother is actually lighter than he is. And when she's anywhere, like when she would be anywhere, everybody thought she was like European or something. Nobody really thought she might have been like black, which she's black, but nobody would think that she was black. They would, like when she would come down to the school, you know, until they knew really that that was my mother or whatever. When she would come down there, people thought she was like a European, some European, maybe not white European, but some other type of exotic type, you know, um,
Like Greek, Italian, something like that.
yeah, like something like that because because her skin was so light, and then she had the hair and all that type of stuff. You know, there's Irishes just runs all through my family on my mother's side, so that's why. And but anyway, but we've gotten that similar, not the same situation, but similar like that. And there's times where my brother, he didn't want to. He's better at it now or whatever, but he wouldn't even come around the family except for the brothers and sisters. But he wouldn't really go around any of our other relatives and stuff, especially on my father's side, or whatever. There's a couple of them that there's a few of them that he would go around or whatever, but he didn't really like to hang around with. Uh, any black people or whatever. And then he's also gay. He's under me. And then when we would go, I'd see him down at the club. We'd be down at Badlands or whatever. And then he would talk to me, and say hi to me and my friends, but he wouldn't hang around any of us, and he wouldn't tell any of them that he was my brother because I was, I guess because I was darker skinned, I don't know, but he wouldn't tell anybody that he was my brother, even though most of them knew because I told him he was my brother. But as he got older, he started getting out of that. But he does have a partner, and he's been with him for like probably about 25 years now. And and his partner is white, and he's cool. His partner's cool. Everybody likes him and stuff. Like that. My brother is probably more, if you want to put it that way, he would probably be more racist than because Randy's not. I didn't said his name. I shouldn't even said his name, but my brother's boyfriend, partner. He's not racist at all. He's actually probably more open minded and liberal than what my brother is. But
Very
So where
interesting.
did that come from?
that came from my side, on my mother's side of the family. Not all of them. My mother, and then and my sister, and one of my brothers, and my other brothers. They weren't like that. But my grandmother, some of her sisters, not most of them, but some of them, and then some of my cousins. On my mother's side, and they were, and my aunt, she got out of that. My aunt kind of got out of it. A couple of my aunts, they kind of got out of it later in life as I was growing up, but they were colorists. My grandmother, she did not, they would talk about, I was young, but I would hear it, and then my mother's, stuff my mother had said, and then just whatever. She would, they would make the comments and stuff, like the nap, like they got nappy hair, or whatever that, or use the, say nigger, or they're too dark, and just like my father, he was darker skinned, and then, and I think my grandmother, from what I get gathered from my mother telling the story, my grandmother didn't like that my father was dark, but also might have been other characteristics he had that were, he had other characteristics that were bad, but as far as the skin tone, my grandmother, I know she didn't really like my father because of that, because she had made a comment of when I was young, she had made a comment about me being, dark. I guess because I'm the dark, and it's weird because people consider me light skinned, and I don't consider myself light skinned. So I don't know. What do you think, Joseph? I don't consider myself light skinned, but
You're
people,
not. You're brown
but
skin.
but people consider, yeah, they'll say
Caramel
I'm light
complected.
skinned,
Yeah, light
right?
skin is high yellow. Like this movie. I don't know if this is like the best movie to talk about colorism because this is more like I'll give you an example. So one of my grandmother's first cousins, their grandfather was white. So when they would see my grandmother and her together, they would never think they was related because
Yeah,
how fair skinned my cousin Eloise was and her daughters and one of her sons. And then when they would see the other sons, they were like, who is that? But black people, unfortunately, especially if we got black people in the South, a lot of times we, they internalize racism, and that makes them want to get as far away from the thing that's being, you know, discriminated against. Which in human nature, you will want things to be easier than the harder thing, right?
right.
So going back to that doll thing, they did an experiment like 1954 in Clarendon
Oh, yeah.
County, South Carolina, and all the little black girls never wanted the black doll. Because
Hmm.
why? Because they always taught that black was ugly, that it was undesirable. Now, if the inverse of that was told, it would be different. But that is the reason why
Hmm.
colorism still to this day, and it's in every culture that has different varieties of color. You see it. You see it in Latin America with the Dominicans versus the Haitians. You see how they treat Africans in Europe. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And just the preferential treatment that people who are lighter complected get,
Hmm.
and is in everything. Now, here's one area that I've observed is funny, where the darker skin is more treasured and more valued in the LGBT community that's in the ballroom scene, where the lighter skinned people have it harder now when they compete. It's
Oh wow.
he's a Latino guy. He calls himself Afro Latino, so he probably has some African in him somewhere. But
Mm-hmm.
and he's strikingly beautiful, but he hardly ever wins.
Mm,
They always pick the dark skinned dudes over him.
Is he, and he's really good?
He's gorgeous. He is, and
And they,
they don't see it. He no matter what effect he does. Not too long ago, he shaved his head and to kind of look like Jeremy Meeks, the sexy felon.
mm-hmm.
mhm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
he won that time, but typically he doesn't win. They always pick the black guys over him.
And see, that's
Mm,
colorism right there too,
Yeah,
though.
it's that's
yeah.
the
That's
inverse of it.
colorism
Yeah.
also.
Is the inverse of it. They do not, do not, do not, do not, do not.
That's very interesting. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Not about the
Mm-hmm.
ballroom scene.
Yeah, the
Yes,
ballroom. Yeah.
that's where, and a lot of most of like the reigning face girls are dark skinned,
Mm-hmm.
chocolate brown.
Mm-hmm.
There's one girl. They thought that she was Latino or something, but she's not. She's from, I think her people are Cape Verde. No, she's from Martinique.
Okay.
Hmm.
She's like a French Caribbean, but they look at her and think that she's Hispanic, but she's not.
Mm-hmm.
She wins sometimes, but most of the ones who win are the dark skin and brown skin now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm. Do you think
So
that the reason that's the case is the case, or given to appear to be the case, is the fact that again in the ballroom scene is kind of more of a um, space to be able to cultivate places
Blackness.
for a lot of people who are marginalized within the community to be able to have um, opportunities to be able to create things or to experience things that unfortunately outside the ballroom scene it will be harder for them to do. So,
yeah,
mhm,
I think so. I also think it's
okay,
kind of like rebelling against the
yeah,
stereotypical forms of European beauty. I
correct,
think
correct,
that's another thing because the ballroom scene was started by black and brown people that
hmm,
were Latino. So it wasn't like the Latino people were not there. And it
right,
was created as a response to the racist, you
yeah,
know, system of the pageantry where they only wanted the whiter skinned people. So
hmm,
Crystal of Asia, she started it because she knew how she was beautiful and that she would never get it. So she said, "Let me create something for me and mine." And that's something I think that's something that's kind of lost within our people. I
hmm,
think a lot of times, and it's just how I was raised. If I'm not going to go someplace where I'm not celebrated, so I will create spaces of my own. And I think
correct,
that we as Black people need to get to that collectively and stop looking to be included and make spaces to celebrate our own people and not just celebrate our own people. That's what creating our own businesses and own systems that will perpetuate us to be at the forefront and not looking to assimilate and to be accepted by what is the stereotypical standard of what's acceptable, what's beautiful, what's attractive. And I think
hmm,
that is something that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done
hmm,
within our own people in regards to that. Like that movie Passing. But see, those movies, I think they do a disservice when they make movies like that because during that time, that was survival. And me just how
yes,
I am as a
yes,
person, I
hmm,
won't be mad at that. Do what you got to do to
hmm,
make your life better.
hmm,
Hmm.
That's my perspective on that. Because if you know that you can get further passing for that, do what you got to do because life was extremely hard and it's still hard for us. So when
hmm,
people do
right,
that,
right,
if it's for their survival and for them to live and eat and work, then you do what you got to do. Now, if it's not that, then that's when I'll be like, okay, why are you doing that? But if it's in regards to your survival and having access to stuff,
hmm,
do what you got to do.
So you say that, Joseph. You said so. You do what you got to do. Passing. If you back in that time, do that. But do you think that you would? But a lot of people, when they passed back then they they stopped coming around the other black people, or didn't talk to, or they shunned other. They shunned their family and the black the black community at that time. So do you think that that's okay?
But it's
You
not
know,
about being okay.
go
It's
past
about
it. And,
it's. I think it's see. I don't think it's about okay. It's about
mhm,
survival. This is, I guess, because I'm an individualist type of person. So, if I was a fair complected person and
mhm,
I was living in an oppressive city, oppressive state, and I
uh-huh.
could get through, then I want to get through
And you would
because I don't
pass.
want to.
You think you
I
would
would do
pass?
it. I don't want to be treated. I don't want
Uh-huh.
to be treated like that. I know we shouldn't be treated like that, but just because some things shouldn't happen doesn't mean it's not. So if I could get the upper hand or something, fine. Now, will I reject my family? It depends if they trying to blow up my spot.
Oh my God.
Now, if
Because I
they
was
keeping
just,
it cute and they ain't
mhm,
blowing up my spot, then we fine. But
Uh-huh.
if you trying to get me clocked, then we gonna have a problem. It's the same thing, but like how a lot of gay men blow up transgender women's business.
mhm,
They move into society, no one knows nothing, and then you blow up. I hate stuff like that. Now, the reality is again, it's about survival. Now, like the mother, she kept coming up, kept coming around, but every time you came around her, you caused her problems. Now, in my mind, as a parent,
mhm,
I may not agree with how you going about stuff, but if I know my presence is going to cause you problems and maybe even cause you physical harm, like it did, I'm gonna stay away from my child because I know that's my child, but everybody else don't got to know that because I don't
mhm,
want them to do because we know what time we're living in. They will
So
hurt you.
even when she was younger, you think that, because she had to go to school with it. She had to do
No,
stuff
I'm
like
talking about when she became of age.
that
When
of
she was
age. So
of age. Once
so
that
what
girl
about when
became
she was
grown, I
younger
feel
then?
like the mother should have left her alone because you saw what your presence did. Just because you feel and believe some a way doesn't mean that that's the way that your child's gonna believe and was gonna be beneficial to them. It's just the reality of stuff. You got to deal with what's going on in reality, not how you want it to be, how it is. And that was the one thing about this movie that I didn't like. I was like, why the hell the mother just ain't leave her alone?
mhm,
Let her do her. If she want to pass to be a white girl, fine. And you told her the consequences of her actions, and she chose that, then it is what it is. But
mhm,
you don't be the catalyst for keep causing her harm and injury. You warned her. You told her as a mother. Now, of course, if she was to go and marry a white man, your baby could come out black as the mother. So then it's going to be blowed up anyway. So that's the choice that she was making. That's the chance she's taking. So that's just my thing with that. Like back in the time, it was survival. Because I know people in my family, they've done it. They did it
mhm,
for access and survival. Now, my cousin Eloise, she didn't deny my grandmother because my grandmother was dark skinned and but we were indigenous people, so looked like dark skinned Asian people. Because my great
mhm,
grandmother was a full Cherokee Indian. So that's how my grand uncles and all them looked. They had slanted eyes, high cheekbones, flawless mahogany skin. So you knew they were black, but you knew they were black and something else. But they were black regardless. But the other side of the family, they was mixed with white. But everyone knew it though. So it was like
Mhm.
some of the ones who were distant from them could pass, but the ones that were close couldn't because everyone knew they was all first cousin, they was all related. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would,
interesting.
my brother couldn't pass, but he well, people think he was my brother, and people thinks my brother is Greek or like from there. When they see him, they think that he's Greek or something, but he's not. But he wouldn't have no reason to pass, even if he could pass, he wouldn't have had no reason to pass to do any of the stuff that she's doing, or like what you're saying too. There would be no reason for him to do that.
yeah,
Uh,
that just seemed like he
because he
just
wasn't oppressed or
yeah,
there
not
was no
oppressing. Just
oppression or anything
unfortunately,
and stuff,
some
like
people
that.
just
He
have
just was
self
doing it
hatred.
because he just was doing it because he set white people up above black people is what he did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but also some things we pass down. You the conversations that your grandmother had and all that stuff. It's like people pass things down unintentionally, sometimes unintentionally, and it does damage. And you have a result like your brother having
Mm-hmm.
all this internalized racism and hatred towards his own people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a white partner, and it's like that. It's like the professional athletes when they all in middle school, high school, and college, they have black girls. As soon as they get signed a contract, they're gonna get a white girl,
Yeah.
and it's
Hey,
laid back.
lady.
And some of them do it because they on the low and don't
That's
want
my
to get
stuff.
blowed
Come
up.
in.
But some of them, it's just they think that the white woman is better. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like with my grandmother, though, I think maybe because some of us other ones, we didn't take, even though that was happening in in that part of the family, we didn't, as we grew up, we didn't take on those attributes or characteristics or anything like that my grandmother had. Now, granted, as I started getting older, she started changing and she wasn't saying or doing that type of stuff. But when I was younger, she was saying that. And what she had said, and I attributed to me because, they were, her and my aunts and them, they were all sitting in the kitchen at the table. And they were like drinking RC Cola because that's what my grandmother loved to drink. But they were drinking that and they were like in there having a discussion. My mother was at work, but and my mother wasn't there, and I was up at my grandparents at the time. I think it was the summertime, and I was up there, visiting or whatever. But then they were in there talking at the table, and they were talking about my father. Well, they're talking about my mother and my father, and then my grandmother had made the remark that, about my father being, real dark. Talking about he, she don't know why my mother married him, and because he was black, he was black and ugly, or whatever. And then she had made the comment, about 5 minutes later. So I heard that, and then about 5 or 6 minutes later or something, I hear the comment where my grandmother was saying, she said, "Oh, Alvin looked just like his daddy." And I took that as her saying I was black and ugly, and then I was little. I was like in the first grade, and I kind of ran out of the kitchen crying, and hid under the bed until my mother got home, when my mother got there. And then I told her what had happened,
Yeah, and that's
whatever.
crazy and that's sad. Look at that, putting trauma on you. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. A lot of black people was so traumatized. It's in our DNA, and then you're not
Mm-hmm.
conscious. You will turn into the monster that was terrorizing you. And a lot of people don't realize that that's what you
Right.
do. And
And I actually
it
did the
takes
opposite
conscious
though.
effort not to do that.
Yeah. And me and my brothers and sisters, though, with the exception of maybe one or two, we actually were the opposite. We didn't treat people like that. We never got into any of that type of stuff. And as we got older, we wasn't even into any of that type of stuff. So we didn't treat people like that. But I think my brother might have, you know, bought into that, and so he, in his mind, he probably thought he was better than most black folks or whatever because he was light skinned and had, the straight wavy hair or whatever. He, in his mind, and from listening to what my grandmother and aunts and them when they were around saying, calling people niggers and black and got nappy hair, or big lips and or big noses and lips and stuff. Even though we got big noses too, but my grandfather, his, he's got that Irish nose, so but anyway, so that's kind of what we kind of dealt with. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm in school. They say exact opposite.
They say what?
They talk about light skin is like the worst. They'll be like,
Don't pull on that. You're gonna pull it off.
they talk about light skin is like the worst. And they'll be like, now you went dark skin is where it's at. One of the ones with big lips and all that. They be like,
At school, they were saying that.
yeah, they'd be like light skin.
At college or in junior high and high school? At both.
They're saying like,
Can y'all hear him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They tell me that since I was light skinned, I look too much like a white person.
You don't look like no white person.
Yeah.
You don't even have white person features. You just light skinned and got sandy brown hair, but that's it.
And then it'll come through with like, oh, you light skinned, you're not even black for it. You can't even comment on black things.
They would say that too. See, I didn't even know that, but anyway, shit happens. You know how people are in school. I mean, it ain't funny, but that's news to me. Okay, so yeah, I think that's kind of where like my brother kind of, and as he started growing up, he started internalizing that and thinking that white people were probably better than black folks or whatever from just listening to my Rashawn, That's my ex. So I went to go visit down in Houston yesterday.
Oh
He's
shit.
texted me now. I
Yeah, he
know.
said
What you do when you
he
was in
about to do a
Texas?
remix.
Tell me.
Oh
He
my
said he about to
God.
do a remix.
Oh Lord.
Ricka
Um,
Ricka.
so so anyway, that's I kind of think as he got older, he thought he was better. He internalized the colorism thing and was thinking he was better than black folks or whatever,
Hmm.
and it just escalated from there or whatever. He's a little better now, but me and him, when we're cool. He's cool with the immediate family, whatever. Uh, but I say stuff to him all the time about him being a colorist and racist and uppity and pretentious. So yeah, he
well,
just laughs now. Huh?
well, unfortunately, this is I think this conversation in regards to colorism, racism, this in this country, it will
Hmm.
never change because this is one of the few places that you can go and don't have honest conversations about history. Whereas if you
Right,
go to Germany, it's
Hmm.
right,
impossible to go anywhere in Germany and not speak of the Holocaust. It's
right.
Hmm.
impossible to go to Japan and don't talk about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But in
Right.
America, as we see Project 2025 and these are Trumplicans and Tangerine people and MAGA people, they want to act like things never existed and they want to make things comfortable for them. And I think, unfortunately, black people are complicit in it too we give too many passes where they don't give passes, and that's the problem. You
No
need to
shade.
things need to be checked
No
in any
shade.
capacity, and that's the problem. It's always turn the other cheek. They let people slide. It's not that. No, it is that, and that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And people have a distorted view of history. Even in
Right.
civil rights time, there were people who didn't let stuff slide, and they survived. There's a brother who was in Monroe, North Carolina. I don't know if you are familiar with that part of North Carolina. It's one of the most racist parts of North Carolina. He started teaching black people to arm themselves. So there was a story one time the police were following him in a car, and he was in the car with like three other young black dudes. And this white man was on the side, and he observed. And when the police would not shoot in the car, and the older white man started crying because the police bowed down to the black man. And why did they bow down to that black man? Because one of the young dudes in the backseat of the car had a double barrel shotgun pointed at the cop. And a black man told the cop, "If you want to live, I suggest you let us go. Because if you don't,
Mm,
we're gonna blow your head off." And that man, he said, "If you want the gun, you have to follow me home." And the
Mm,
police let them go, and he ended up leaving North Carolina, going to Cuba for many years, and coming back. I don't remember what his name is, but there were people like that even during the times of Jim Crow and segregation that didn't let stuff slide. So if those people had courage then, when the probability of them being harmed or even killed was way stronger than now, we should not be letting stuff slide with these white people. Period.
ooh, I'm gonna save my commentary for the end because I want to see what the hell happened to her ass. No shade, because
okay.
her ass over here, her mama helping her, and she over here getting slappy. You're black and beat the shit out of her, and you gonna blame your damn mama, girl. I want to see what the hell happened to her damn ass.
All
But
right,
no
here we
shade.
go.
Everything that Jay said, everything. Yep.
Mhm.
Truth. Truth. Yep.
Well, Joseph, I guess she ain't listening to you.
Of course not.
That's Mahalia Jackson, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, y'all. So,
Mm, mm,
damn,
mm.
her mother had to go to to her grave with a broken heart. Um, but that's one aspect of how colorism can play out. I mean, there's all type of ways how colorism plays out in our families and in our, our lives and stuff, like that. But that's one aspect right there. And any more thoughts on that,
I want Queen Stevie to go ahead and talk, and I'll go after if that's cool.
Miss Stevie? Miss Stevie, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Bubs wants you to, you know,
Yeah, I want you to. I want to hear your perspective on this. Definitely. So.
Ooh, there are so many layers from the doll when it started off from her being a little girl, from, you know, the beach scene where she's like, okay, this is your daughter, this is your mother. And yeah, and then they became friends. And then how the little girl did not want to play with the brown dog. There was literally a study that was constructed when they had to go, CNN did it, and I think everybody knows has seen it, where they asked the children to choose the most aggressive shade on the scale, or what's called or considered the brown paper bag test. And
Right.
out of all the children, they chose the darkest shade on that spectrum. Colorism has an impact, not just, it falls on the scale of white supremacy because it goes all the way back to slavery, how they would separate us on skin color, skin
Mhm.
complexion. And if you have seen me, you know that I'm not the lightest girl in the room. So I was reading this book called The Color Complex, and it talks about the politics of skin color among African Americans. So I'm just going to read a brief excerpt from it. It says that it was a new land and a new era filled with possibilities. It says the first chapter is called Masters, Slaves, and Lovers. And it starts off by saying that what might have been unthinkable in Europe and Africa was an everyday occurrence in the wilderness. Miscegenation or race mixing became widespread as Europeans, Africans, and Native Americans mixed their seed and substance to produce a kaleidoscope of skin tones and features. So we're not just talking about colorism here, we're talking about features. If you've seen me again, you know that I have very full pouty lips. I have a big nose. This was something that everybody was talking about early on the panel. So I was listening to the conversation and watching the film as well too. These are black features. And who do
Mhm.
we know that are out here going to buy these same exact features? White women. Hello, Kardashians. Yes, we're talking to you. You want our features. You want to
Ah,
be us. Black people, we are the blueprint. Full nose, full pouty lips. These are black features. Now I'm gonna go on and continue to reading more of this. It says also Europeans, Africans, and Native Americans mixed their seed and substance, but the primary race groupings differed sharply in their civil liberties and political freedoms. Subtle variations in appearance took on enormous consequence in meaning, especially among Negroes, against a backdrop of love, grapes, politics, and war. So that's all I'm going to read there. But the book is called The Color Complex, The Politics of Skin Color Among African Americans. And the author is Kathy Russell. And it also talks about Spike Lee's Jungle Fever and how there was a conversation about what's her name? Lynette McKee's character dating Wesley Snipes, and then how he dated the white girl. So we're seeing that, and I put it in the comments earlier, from a certain political party, from black conservatives who've joined a certain political party backing Donald Trump, as Joseph said earlier on the panel. We're seeing that you want to be close to or white adjacent. That at the end of the day is not going to help you because you are still a nigger in their eyes. As the white boy in this film just called that the black woman in the film the N-word, that's exactly how they feel about you. They don't give a fuck about how much money you make. They don't give a fuck about how much education you got. At the end of the day, you are still a nigger to them. So you can
damn.
be close to or as white adjacent as you want to be. This motherfucker, this orange motherfucker in the house, is we talking about colorism. Well, the motherfucker with the color orange
Damn.
occupying the White House doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your people. So since we're talking about colors, I would love to see him in an orange jumpsuit right about now. All of this tyranny that you done unleashed on Americans. The same thing that they're doing to us, you're doing to your own people. And you're categorizing people based off of skin color and skin complexion. Now, my experience with colorism was in high school. I got it from some of the white kids. I got it from some of the black kids. And I've shared my experience on the show where I said I wanted to go and get cosmetic surgery. I wanted to just chop my nose, chop my lips. I wanted to bleach. I wanted to do all of those things because I didn't feel I was beautiful or great enough. I hated my brown skin. I was teased about it. I was called every name in the book. Any dark skinned child can relate to being called octomaroon, monkey, or any other thing. It falls right on that scale of white supremacy. And that is what's going to keep us oppressed because we are picking out people based off of their skin color. We see it in television shows. I'm going to do you one better and blow your mind. You look at cartoons like The Proud Family. Who do we know that's blue and unattractive on the show?
What's his name?
I'm going to take it even further. Martin. Who got more favor and affection from Martin? Gina did, right?
Gina
Not
did, yeah.
Who got the insults and she
Pam,
gave it right back to him?
best
It was
friend.
Pam.
Pam, Pam,
Best friend.
Do you one
Pam.
better? They just came out with a podcast and they were talking about their experience during living single. Eric Alexander, Max on
Oh
living
yeah.
single, and
Max. Yeah.
Kyle were the only two dark skinned people on that show. Everybody else was light skinned. Erica said that on the show. If you go back and you watch the Reliving Single podcast right here on the tube, you will see her talk about her experience with colorism. And it's always someone with a lighter hue. Whenever we speak out about it, we are gaslit. Like, really? You want to make it about color? Yes, it's about skin color. Because I know that there are certain privileges I wouldn't be privy to. And I'm not jealous or upset, but that's just how the beauty industry is. I work in the field of beauty and fashion. So I know that certain things that we would flip through the pages of Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and see would be European and blue eyes. It wouldn't necessarily be someone about my complexion or someone about the complexion of Viola Davis, who's also spoke out about colorism. Someone like Eric Alexander, as I just mentioned, who spoke out about colorism. Gabrielle Union, who also spoke about colorism. I can go to the reality show side. Who do we know that has blue hair that is one of the global music sensations and she's on the Love and Hip Hop franchise? That's
Like,
Spice.
yes.
Who else do we know from a reality show? Basketball Wives. OG.
That's
So I mean, colorism is in our media, is there, but people dismiss it. And in order for us to fix the problem, you have to address the issue. There is a color issue. There are people who will I could call names of YouTubers, but I'm gonna behave. I've seen some of y'all are color struck out here and only see the perception of this is even in the hip hop industry. It's in the hip hop industry as well, too. Because we see Cardi, we see Nicki, we see all of these female rappers, but someone like a Doechii or my girl, y'all know I'm a hottie, Meg Thee Stallion, someone of a darker hue. I would say the one female rapper, well, two that I can think of that broke that mold that darker skinned women can show you sexuality and beauty and grace at the same time. It would be Foxy Brown and Lauryn Hill. And they were the representation that I saw. Whereas it was someone like, and I love her too, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, she would be seen as desirable because of her lighter skin. But it's always the ones that are of a darker hue we're looked at as masculine or unattractive. I can do you one better, Serena Williams, Michelle Obama. I am listing off women who have all experienced what's called misogynoir and colorism. Misogynoir is making a woman feel less than a woman. She's looked at as masculine. And there's nothing desirable about that. And it is very dangerous as well, too. And we see it even when these abuse cases with women being abused. Well, what she did, what she had on, why she did this. Maybe if she wouldn't have worn this, they will gaslight you. That's the same thing they did to OG on Basketball Wives. Now, why is it that Evelyn Lozada can they throwing tables and throwing bottles and chairs and shoes? Like this the Hoppers Bazaar event with Nicki and Cardi. And OG will get blamed for it. But the other person of a lighter skin won't get no repercussion. So you see how colorism works, how
oh
favoritism
yeah.
works, and how desirability works. And it's even in our community, the queer community, no fats, no femmes.
Oh
We see
yeah.
certain OF creators that pick out creators to work with, and it's typically someone that is what is the word that I'm looking for? Ooh, not mixed racial is one of them. It's one of the two. I cannot remember that term.
Is it
They say it.
multiracial,
Yes, I think
Biracial.
that's it. Yes, it's typically
biracial? Yeah,
someone on the
multiracial, biracial.
in the Latino spectrum, someone who is like a multiracial. You wouldn't see someone typically of my skin complexion unless it's like, okay, crave melanin. There's flame. What's his name? Fame. Yeah, I know about him. Yeah, blow your mind, right? Uh,
Fame.
they're
You
Wow.
about
better
my
know the
complexion.
people.
That's when, and that's when they get into the fetishization of colorism. When they, with like with fame and crave melanin and stuff. Because there's also a fetishization to colorism with some people.
Don't
Yeah,
feel
it's
bad
about
about
desire.
struggling with that word. I struggle with that word my damn self. So
Fetishization. Yeah,
yeah, I can't. Don't ask me to say that shit. Queen make fun of me all the time.
you know
I
it.
mean,
Fetishization. It's true though. Like if you don't fit the caliber of beauty of what societal beauty standards, we see a statue that's got people shooken up
mm-hmm.
in New York, a
Right,
12-foot statue that's got people shooking up on what beauty
right.
standards are supposed to look like. I am so glad I don't listen to what society says what is beautiful and what is not. My Our Black is beautiful, and you're seeing it here on this panel. An array of skin complexions. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, Black people, we come in an array of colors, as the book, The Color Complex, just stated. We come in an array of skin tones. That's what's so unique about us. But at the end of the day, our melanin will protect us. We don't go out in the sun and peel and burn like they do and shit. But that
Mm.
motherfucker that's in the White House, I can tell you one thing. I don't know what shade of orange he's gonna be tomorrow, but he can't go out in the sun for too long.
No.
They got to put on their sunblock. If not, they cooked. They turn into prune. It's something in our melanin that is so unique that protects us from the sun. But we still got to protect our melanin too, so we wear sunblock also too. But theirs, then no, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna cook. But other than that, Black is beautiful. And the conversation about colorism, it needs to be continued to keep having. We're seeing it also on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Alvin said it best earlier about hair texture, your nappy hair. Um, Comparing someone's hair to a bale of cotton that dates all the way back to slavery. It dates all the way back to slavery. The conversation of good hair, bad hair. That's texturism because we see it even in the media sometimes. Everybody has seen the Dove commercial where the girl wanted to straighten her hair. And the mom was like, no, embrace your curl pattern. We are now seeing a different variety of hair textures like never before. From 4A to 3B to 3A to 3C to 4C, we have an array of hair textures, the same way we have an array of skin tones. Your hair is beautiful, your black is beautiful. So never let anybody tell you that you are less than because of the color of your skin. But it is dangerous because it falls right there on the scale of white supremacy. How they would call us niggers and how they would call the Mexicans what they would call them spicks. So I
Six,
mean,
yeah.
the racism is there. It is there
Mhm.
and it is out loud. They're not hiding it anymore. This is how they feel about us. And we have to make sure that we're empowering the next generation to pick up dolls that look like them. In this film, that really tugged at my heartstrings, seeing that like the girl didn't want the black doll and the black doll was on the floor. I told you I started collecting Barbies in 2022. And it is one everybody need to go and look at. It's called Ruby Radiance. She is beautiful. She's got about my skin complexion. And Bob Mackey, who's designed for Cher, designed her gown. She is over my bed and she's by my trophies that I've won. She's
Mm.
absolutely gorgeous. So
Wow.
when we talk about beauty and the standard of seeing beauty, what I love about Barbie is that Barbie has an array of dolls. I mean, when people went crazy when Brandy got her doll and she came out with it because young girls saw that representation of she looks like me. She has my hair texture. And we need to be empowering the next generation in the queer community that follow in our footsteps, that want to be a voice like a Bubs the God, like a Tit for Tat, like a Deshaun, like a Joseph, like a Miss Stevie, like a T.S. Madison. We need to be encouraging them to embrace everything that they are authentically. It starts with us because these children growing up picking on themselves, picking themselves apart, looking in the mirror saying, I don't like my skin tone. Now, if I would have bleached my skin or got all of that work done, who would have that worked for? It wouldn't have made me even more happier. Who are you doing this for to make happy?
Mm.
You're not making yourself happy. You're causing yourself pain. So what is the
Mhm.
reason? What That's something my mother reassured me of that. And if anybody can assure you that you're beautiful, your mother can. Because there are days when I wake up and I don't feel it. I don't see it. And I wanted to bleach. I hated my skin tone throughout high school because I was teased all the way from grade school. And I got it the worst from some of my own people and then
What?
some of the white kids too. When living in a red state, in the red state of South Carolina, you got these white kids that are privileged down here. And that's
Oh,
in any state where they are privileged and privy to having everything handed to them on a silver platter because their mom is either a school teacher, their father is either a PE coach. So again, the dismantling of colorism needs to begin. We need to have these hard-hitting conversations. The Color Complex is a good book to pick up and read. It's another book by Sharon G. Flake that I would recommend called The Skin I'm In. And it follows the story of a character by the name of Malika. And Malika experienced the same thing that I've experienced, which is being teased for her skin tone. These girls were kept picking on her because she had a crush on had a crush on a guy that liked some of those that the girls liked, and they kept teasing her for it. So jealousy is also to play in that story, but it's a good book, and I would suggest people go and read it. The Color Complex and The Skin I'm In. It both touch on colorism. Back in the day, it would be called light skin versus dark skin. Now there's a name for it. It is colorism. It is all of the isms. It is white supremacy. It is fascism, and they all fall on that scale together. What we're living under right now is a total autocracy, limited freedoms, limited freedoms. Now, to the black men, I'm not against interracial dating as long as you know who you are. At the end of the day, hell, to each his own. Do you? But I'm gonna say this: don't be like a Tim Scott down here from my city of South Carolina talking about, oh, I just love you, Mr. Trump. I just love you. Don't get down here and start shucking and jiving
I
and
didn't even
doing the
shake
stuff
his
that
hand.
not
Tim
only that.
Scott and
Wait.
Shaq.
Let me sing this song. I will vote for Donald Trump. Hey, the booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. I will vote for Donald Trump. Ooh.
I'm screaming,
Hey, Miss Stevie. Hey, Miss
and I'm the
Stevie.
one that's high. I'm not even laughing like him
Yes.
yet. I'm kind of jealous.
Can you put that book name in the comments here so so Calvin can
I put it in the
get it,
comments.
or anybody who want to you know go and read that book, or if you have the link, if you can put it in there, or put the name and the author in these comments here, and that way anybody who wants to see it can go
I
read it or
put the
something.
book name down there. The
Oh, you
Color
did?
Yes.
Complex
Miss
and the
It's,
Stevie,
Skin I'm
where are
in.
you in South
I
Yeah.
see it right
Carolina?
here.
Yeah.
Okay, the
hmm
color complex, the skin I'm in. All
If she
righty.
wants to put the link, she can, because I ain't gonna do that.
But that's where we learned this the color, colorism from is from slavery. That we
yeah.
picked we picked up we picked up the same shit that they were putting out, and we picked it up and we carried it on forward. You know, not all of us, but there's lots of us in our families and generations and stuff that have perpetuated colorism.
And Joseph asked me where I was from. Bamberg, South Carolina, which is a very small town. And I know a lot of people are familiar with Charleston and Orangeburg, South Carolina. Orangeburg would be 25 minutes away from me. And in the red state of South Carolina, growing up down here in the heart of the Bible Belt, it is also racism down here. Joseph mentioned North Carolina. I have family there. And we know what happened up there, what he tried to do, what those judges tried to do, how they tried to throw out an election that was won by a Democrat. I can't remember the woman's name who won the Supreme Court race, but they tried to toss votes up there from this
Yeah.
election in North
My
Carolina
family
as
is
well.
from where you're from. That's why I
I'm
know
trying to do
exactly
that
where you're from.
too.
Bamberg. I know where that's. My grandmother was from St. Matthew, South Carolina.
Oh.
Yes. Eh, It's the racism is deep down here and it's hitting under the surface. So by me speaking out, and I think by a lot of people, if you're in the Carolina areas, continue to speak out. Continue to speak out on this because people can't continue to live this way. We have people out here that are losing their lives, that are being arrested for speaking truth to power and discrimination. That's what we're seeing from this administration. White South Africans will be getting our hard earned tax-paying dollars. Insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol January 6th will be getting our hard earned tax-paying dollars. And I probably might have gotten some backlash and flack for what I said on the Girl Talk Friday. I don't apologize for it at all. Um, don't pay taxes. Simple. If it's going to contribute to Donald Trump's pockets, not one red cent, not one red cent of our hard earned tax-paying dollars will needs to go to any of these people who feel as though, as Joseph said it best on the panel earlier. I was on mute because I was taking it all and listening. Uh, you're not the victims. You're not the victims. The real victims are the people that look like us on this panel up here. We know the real true history of this country. And Daryl said the same exact thing on the show today. You're trying to erase it to make it look like you're the person who's experienced the oppression. White people were never oppressed. It's black people who were oppressed. Y'all have had everything handed to you from a silver platter. I mean, Deshaun was talking about that the day before.
Yeah.
So, what are you trying to say? Because we built this country. Oh, and let's talk about the plantation. The plantation that was burned to the ground. Oh, yeah. I love
Wait,
it so much.
can I play this right quick?
Karma.
Let me just play this right quick.
Our
Just
ancestors are very, very proud.
wait, hold up. Let me just play this right quick because I want you to see this.
I got next
I
up.
think we should go and
Stevie.
have a barbecue in front of the plantation. That sounds about right.
That
Burn it
does.
down.
Wait,
Burn
let
it
me.
right to the ground.
Wait.
Yeah, that plantation should have burnt the fuck down. And solitude they wanted to all of their ancestors who burnt that motherfucking down, okay? Okay, come on, lovely Jay. Let's work out. Okay? Let's work out. We about to talk about it and we ain't gonna
Yes.
You a soldier? Okay. I'm gonna teach you how to stop. Cause period.
I love it so much.
Wait, there's more. She's gonna say more.
Okay, you about to get a damn strike on his shit now with the song.
Oh,
That motherfucker should have burned down good. I'm glad. Solitude they wide to all of the ancestors who burnt that motherfucker down. You hear me? Cause period. All right, let me put that up. Okay, we glad that it
Okay.
burnt the fuck down. I'm sure y'all saw.
You
I
were
put up the
something.
validation.
she is crazy.
Okay.
Ah.
Bugs and Joe. Oh, go ahead, Sean. You got anything else to say?
Yes. Did you hear about the black woman that was brain dead, where they actually forced her to give child because she was on life support for 90 days, and
Yeah,
also she has
she
to
was
be
brain dead.
Adriana Smith. Yep.
Adriana Smith, and it's like, and they ignored the family's wishes, and I don't know what wishes that they were trying to do. I don't know if they were trying to let her go with the baby. I don't know, or try to do a C-section. I don't know, but why didn't they just do a C-section on her? Why would they? I don't get it.
Yeah,
She needed life-saving care. Uh, and this is not only another, this is another instance right here. Do we all know the story of Henrietta Lex?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was missing from her body? Her cells, correct? So that means
Yeah.
they can basically
They took
use
her
us
cells
as
and
human.
used them. Yeah, they took her cells and used them to, and like in experiments
A
and stuff, and
replicate for
to make
cancer research. Yeah.
right, and to make, yeah, go ahead, yeah, Joseph, and yeah, to make, to use
Yeah, using her DNA
cells
to
in other
replicate
people's
it to
bodies
make.
to help heal them and
Yeah.
make vaccines and stuff from them. And they didn't,
Without her
and they didn't
consent.
pay the family. Back then, they didn't pay the family. Now they have compensated, but back then they didn't compensate.
No compensation, no
Mhm.
consent. They can do whatever they want to your body without your consent. So I'm so glad Deshaun spoke on that. Amber
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Thurman, who was another woman in the Georgia area who was supposed to get life-saving care. There is now a Trump abortion ban, and especially the red states. If you're in a red state like me, you can forget your reproductive health care. We know the story of Amari Marsh, who spent some days in the Orangeburg Detention Center down here for miscarrying. So this is now a dystopian, draconian Gilead to punish women, to beat women into submission. And now you want to pay them $5,000 to start a family. But see, Hitler did some similar shit decades ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if anything that Donald Trump is doing is following straight out of the book of Adolf Hitler. Because
That's what
you are
all that
jailing,
eugenics was about.
you're now wanting to go after the Queen, Beyonce. You want to go after Bruce Springsteen. You want to go after anybody who donated to Kamala Harris.
Don't
What
forget
what good
about.
is that going to do? What's that going to do? You're childish. You are a 78-year-old draft dodging nepo titty baby. That's what you are.
Don't forget about Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, he went after Taylor Swift too. I hate Taylor Swift
He
because
all
she
he's going
endorsed
to Taylor
Kamala.
Swift because he wants her to be on her side. He wants her to be on his side.
Well, I
He
mean, you
was trying
got
to
Kid
tell
Rock, you got Zachary Levi, you got Snoop Dogg, Soldier Boy. We don't claim them like Zora. They can stay right over there. They went and they performed at your crypto ball. So you got some performers, but Kamala's got all the people on her side because she was gonna do the right thing. You are a fascist, sir. That's exactly what you are. You are a demon. You are a liar. You are a zygote. You are a megalomaniac. You are dangerous. That's what you are, Mr. Trump.
he's Morlock. He's a Morlock energy. He is a giant tether to our energy. That's what he is.
And
He
too raw,
is.
too real. Kenny ate you up in that video. Kenny ate you up. Too raw, too real ate you up. So it's childish. Everything you want to do, and now you want to go after the people that Joe Biden pardoned. What for? What reason? What's that
Oh,
going to do?
did you hear about Joe Biden's son talking junk about Joe Biden? I mean, not Joe Biden's son. I mean, Donald Trump's
Don
son
Jr.
here
Yeah,
talking
Donald Jr.
about his son, talking about Joe Biden's cancer and his wife.
Um, Don Jr. I
Don,
suggest you figure out what type of a line you're gonna sniff this week, because baby, I don't know what you own, but when you get out here on these
like,
platforms, you be sweating like a racehorse. I
like
mean,
how?
disheveled, red, everything. You can't tell me this motherfucker don't do no lines.
Like, absolute. That's just absolutely freaking disrespectful what you did.
They have no respect. It's so they are soulless. They are
Now,
gutless.
that to Trump, then we say something wrong. But you can say whatever the fuck you want, and you won't have no repercussions for it.
We
Like
saw
that
when
man.
his ass like to stumble in that garbage truck though. So he says he want to talk about karma and all sorts of shit. We saw when he like to stumble into that garbage truck. And how you gonna get in Arizona and forget where you are at? We see the health decline. We see you can't pronounce Second Corinthians. It's Second Corinthians, bitch, not 2 Corinthians.
Right. But he also said that there was
In the book of Psalms,
5 stages of cancer, but there's only 4 stages, and he said, the fifth stage, Donald Trump's. It is like, no, there's only 4 stages of cancer, and the fourth is the most severe.
Mhm.
So there is no fifth stage. The fourth, like if the fifth stage is, that means you dead, because usually you're dying during the
Yeah.
fourth stage.
Yes. Maybe that was his
So,
way of wishing death on him, I guess, in a sense. But
and then what were you gonna say, Bubs?
first of all, shout out to oh, shit. Shout out to everybody and their perspectives. I really appreciate it. And I agree with everybody. Um, using the film as a conduit. I think it was a pretty good example for colorism. First of all, it was just amazing that this little white girl can get lost and found this biracial child, and they became friends, and now they living in the house. But make sure you clean and cook and clean and wash everything.
Well,
So
well,
still kind
well,
of
tech, well. Let me. So she didn't have to be her maid. She Annie wanted to be her maid because she didn't want her to be her maid initially. Now she did use her a couple of times. I edited it down so much, but anybody who wants to go back, they'll see how all of that played out. How she started off. Where Meredith came and allowed her. Meredith let her. Took her in. Really, it was supposed to be for the night. Annie really insisted on being, actually being her maid, because that's how
mhm,
she was able, because both of them were poor, and then that's how she was able to like work off her, as for living there. And as they
okay.
grew up, Meredith became a famous movie star,
Hmm.
Broadway actress, and then so that's where you saw, and then but throughout the whole thing, she treated Sarah Jane and them just like her daughter, and Annie treated, Sandra Dee, that was her real name. She treated her just like their daughter, and she, even though Meredith paid her, she paid her really well. That's why Annie was able to do all that stuff, and put Sarah Jane through school. But she also, so that was really Annie who wanted to be the maid. But then Meredith did use her a couple of times to, like, when a company was calling there to check to see where Meredith lived or whatever. She intentionally said, "Oh, Annie," she says. And when Annie picked up the phone, Meredith intentionally said, "Oh, that would be Annie, my maid," but she was using it as a scapegoat, so she can get
Hmm.
ahead. But she really didn't treat her like a maid or do anything. That was Annie who basically did a lot of that herself. And Sarah Jane was free to come and go and do whatever she wanted, just like Sandra Dee was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bub. Sorry.
No, you good, you good, you good. Thank you
I
for
just
clarifying.
clarified.
No, thank you for clarifying. So I guess in a sense, with this interpretation, it's a romanticized version of indentured servitude, if you will, because she insisted
Mhm.
that she had to do it.
Right,
She didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? There were other
right,
ways to make it work. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But um, in reference to what was said earlier by Jay, I really want to talk about that aspect, which again I do think it was very important based off of what everybody shared in their own personal experiences from the book. Again, shout out to Queen Stevie for that. To Jay's point, and y'all wonder why this girl is saying, "No, bitch, I'm white. I'm white," because of the reality of what is going to happen, and
Right,
also a reality that is we're being told that it's never going to change. It's going to always be this way. So if you're going to be stuck in this thing, yeah, some people are going to say, "Fuck the rest of y'all. I don't want to be connected to y'all." If that means I have to separate myself from other people to live a better life, and to Jay's point, yeah, that's your life. You can do what you want to do, which is what she did. But what was just so interesting to me is that she spent the majority or the big part of her life denying one aspect of herself just for her to have to return to that at the end when you can't sit up here and tell her to go away. Now she gone forever. So now you sitting here and you fucked up, and now you dealing with a situation. But that could also be a learning lesson as well.
Right.
And to me, it's just very interesting because even when homegirl was, oh, I'm white, I'm white, I'm white. Well, when her boyfriend, her man, found out that she was not, because again, if we're gonna go back to slavery, if you just got one drop
Mm-hmm.
of blood in you, you is a nigga.
You
You get what
was
I'm
a
saying, or
real.
a form of one, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like with indentured servants and slaves, there's a hierarchy in the class here. So when he was beating her, I mean, he beat her ass. I said, "Damn!" I'm like, just because she's black and you slap the shit out of her, back to massage noir, as
Mm-hmm.
Queen Stevie said, as far as getting your ass beat, and the fact that she went back home and did not report to the police about what that man did to her, but to sit up here and say, "Mom, it's your fault," because everywhere you go, I'm reminded of the one thing that I really am, but I don't want to identify with because I see what happens. So I think if we start having more of those conversations that really break that, we can
Mm-hmm.
actually make something happen. Because if it's going to always be this way, then my thing is, why do we bring children into this world? Just like she said in the film, something about along the lines of her being born and didn't know she was going to be born into pain, like she was not going to have a chance. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was funny that the mom spent so much time trying to be in her daughter's life and love and affirm her,
Mm-hmm.
but when she came one last time, she hugged her daughter. Her daughter broke down because she knew, and just how ironically, after that aspect, she passed away. So it was just
Right.
very interesting. And we can also flip the narrative because even with this film, with her wanting to be white, you have those that are mixed that want to know more about their black side, that
Right.
want to know
Right.
more about the black community, and then there are people in the black community that will deny them access as well. I think
Right.
Tifa T, I think that was your son, if I'm not mistaken, who was in the background
That was my
that
son. Yeah.
shared his perspective about, well, being more of what they would consider to be more lighter skinned, lighter complected. They also get, they deal with discrimination as well because again, because of society, they're closer to the proximity of whiteness, of power, of control. You know what I mean? And there are some people who want to connect to their black side but are denied that aspect too. So it's on both sides. And to bring it all the way back around to Queen Stevie's point, that was the aspect of the slave master. I forgot who it was, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But well, I don't know if it was the Willie Lynch letter. It was a certain type of event that happened that talked about how you can keep a slave, no matter whether they're physically free or not. As long as you got them in here and in
Mm-hmm.
here,
Right.
they will always bow down to you. So
Yeah.
we're playing into that, which is why I think we need more of that self love. We need more of these conversations. We need more of the alternate ways of thinking to really deal with this. Because if we're going to continue to do this, then we have to also accept the fact that we're literally bringing our children in to be slaughtered if it's never going to change. You get what I'm saying? So it's like there is a different type of perspective, and I like what Jay said as far as us as black people, regardless of the shade, learning more about our history, the history they tried to erase that would keep us from being inspired. I didn't know about the individual he talked about as far as when them cops pulled up, had that shotgun and said, "Look, I know you got white privilege and all, but your white privilege about to be all over these goddamn streets in a goddamn second. And I don't mind the aftermath. You won't live long enough to see what the fuck happens. So do you want to play this game?" So it's like no shade. We have to start getting to an aspect where we start investing in blackness. We have to stop participating in the system the way they were doing. When you look at what we did with Target and all these other companies that tried to remove DEI and they were hurting financially. Okay, so if we give all that money to them, where's the rest of the money going if they're not getting it? So we need to invest in ourselves, and not just that, our self-defense as well. And that's what's going to really make them scared. So to everybody, I say, please make sure that you educate yourself. Make sure that you read. This is the time to do so. They got rid or fucking up the Department of Education. So if your ass ain't read, I don't know what to tell you. And like they say, if there's one thing you want to keep from a nigger, put it in a book. So please
Right.
go ahead and read. And that's the sad
Yeah.
part. But we
Make
got to
sure it's
change
AI,
that
That's so
not
narrative.
sad. Yeah.
A1, as Linda McMahon would say.
Linda McMahon needs to go get Stone Cold Stunner one more time. Then we need RVD to come through and hit her in the head with a chair, and Jeff Hardy do a swanton bomb on her.
Definitely need to
This is
get hit with a
this is where we
chair
at.
or
And
Party.
the gentleman I was talking about, his name was Robert F. Williams.
Okay, let me look it up right now. Robert F. Thank you for that. Robert
Mhm.
F. Wood.
So you got Joseph. You got anything else you say before I hop into this next video?
Well, like I said, it's unfortunately, the more things change, the more they stay the same, and it's
Right.
always about division. And
Mhm.
that's our greatest weapon is unity. So
Mhm.
the free-ishness that we have that they're trying to take away, it only came about by us being united, Black people being united, sacrificing for future generations to have more access than what they had at the time. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in our community that are not willing to sacrifice anything. Where they do have platforms and power to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
things different, they choose not to. They choose to go to the other. They choose to perpetuate this false narrative of white supremacy. Like people like Tim Scott and Candace Owens and these NFL players who didn't take a knee, but Brother Colin, all of these things are the step stools that keep white people with this false premise of thinking that they are superior. And that's
Right.
why we still are marching. We're still protesting. Today was the 100th birthday of Malcolm X, would have been 100 years old today. And a
Mm,
couple of people shut down 125th Street today.
mm.
Shut it down. They protested in front of Chick-fil-A. All the stores closed.
Mm.
Protest in front of Chick-fil-A. Yes. Fuck
So,
out of here.
you know, a lot of times people like symbols, but it needs to be action and strategy with it as well.
Right.
So
Correct.
Right.
that's the
Right.
problem. We can't just do things symbolically and do things one time and think you're gonna take off the head of the giant with one swing of an axe. You're gonna have to keep swinging, and unfortunately, the giant is like a hydra. Is a million heads now.
Mm, yes.
All
And we got to
righty.
cut that bitch stomach open and rip his heart out then from this. Let me stop being so graphic. I'm sorry.
All righty. So,
Damn,
all
definitely graphic. Oh my.
right, here we go, y'all.
Good job.
And then after this one, I got a few questions. After this video here, I got a few questions I want to ask y'all. Y'all opinion of what you think happened. Okay, so I got a few questions, and then I want y'all to weigh in on.
Summer sales. You can't keep a New Yorker away from a bargain.
Ain't that the truth? Well, let's get to the toy store and out of this heat. I'll never hear the end of it if I don't get my niece a doll for her birthday.
Is she asking for some special sort? You know they have those ones with the darling hair that you can braid.
Yes, maybe she'd like that. I don't know.
Oh. Whew. There now, that's better.
Oh, now look at that precious little pickaninny one. That she'll love.
No.
Of course, she's never even had a color. It didn't work for her.
Oh,
No,
my.
never mind, ladies. Accidents will happen.
Oh, goodness.
Here you are.
Here. Oh, thank you. What a nice lady.
Now I can tell you, there is no way that I would have even though they're passing, they can pass, what they consider passing. I would have known they were Black from the beginning. Not those two white women that was in there, but the ones who they get ready to talk about. I would have picked out from the beginning that they were not, that they were not white. Now I might have known they were passing, but I would have known that they were not white. And y'all,
I already knew. I already knew.
That lady kind of clocked her a little bit because she kind of looked like, who is it?
Yes, she did. She kind of clocked. Like, is she?
But that's why she got that big ass hat on too.
Thank you so much.
And that's why she got that big old hat on too, because it helps disguise her face, and that's why she hold her head down a lot and not walk straight on with her, because she didn't want nobody to clock her, and with the hat down, they might assume, they might not see all her features, I guess. And they also did their hair a certain way to look like white women's hair and all that stuff too.
I didn't know this was a mix of DL Race. Come on, DL Race.
DL Race. DL Race.
Okay, here we go.
Been on the down low. Somebody has to know.
There you go. Thank you so much.
She looks so familiar.
Yeah, you know who she is. Huh?
Did she play on
Do you
Dear
have
White
the
People?
Mother Goose Strong and Tracing book?
What'd you say?
Did she play on Dear White People, the series?
I don't know. I don't know. I know she played in this other movie that I saw her in, where the guy was, they were like kind of poor too, but then they met when they were young, and then he was he wanted to be like a singer. Her
We're talking
father
about Sylvie's Choice.
Sylvie's Choice, yeah. And then her father owned the record store or something, and she was in there working, and that's how she met the guy. But then they kind of met up years later ago. But it kind of played on a little bit of, colorism.
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Probably when I see her full face, I'll be able to recognize her. But okay.
Yeah, you might recognize the other one in here too.
All sold out.
Yeah, figures. I've tried all over town. My son won't settle for anything but.
We'll try again in a couple weeks. Might get lucky.
This
I
professed
know her
tomorrow.
now. I know her now.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Good
what
luck
they
next
white
time.
people.
You played on Westworld too, the series.
thank you.
That's a hell of a hat.
Yeah, that's definitely a hell of a hat.
That shady ass hat, bitch. You can look at people and grim them the fuck down. They wouldn't even know.
All right. I suppose you should.
She's like, I'm staring at you.
Pardon me, I don't mean to stare.
Pay close attention to what's going on here, because I got these questions I want to ask y'all. What y'all actually think or believe towards the end, But I'll wait till the end. But this, I want to get y'all insight.
Got you.
I think I know you.
I'm afraid you're mistaken.
No, of course I know you, Rini. You look just the same. Tell me, do they still call you Rini?
Yes, so no one's called me that for a long time.
Would y'all think any one of them was black? I mean, white? Even looking like that, would y'all think either one of them was white?
I can kind of tell that they're mixed.
Yeah, they're mixed. Like, well, I can
there
tell
are certain features.
Yeah.
And if you saw them back then or whatever, would you think that they were white? Would you be able to tell that they were black, or you just think they're passing? I mean, you would just think that they were white. You wouldn't give it a second.
Black, but they will be passing closely, but they'll be like, kind of close to white, but they still won't accept them. But they're like, you know what I mean? But they're close to passing a little bit in the white size. But we know that they're black. We know that
you would know that they were black if you saw
the features and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Everybody can't
Don't
be
you
Tina
know
Marie.
Tina Marie.
Not really, Rini.
And she was the
I'm
one that
afraid I
clocked her
can't
with
seem
that
to
hat.
place.
She's like, yeah, I see you. I see you. Like that.
I low-key want to screenshot that, but I'm not.
the way that woman with the blonde hair was like, and the camera was like, and she's like,
Don't stare at me too damn long. I'm gonna be like, excuse me, are you okay? Need something? Do you know me? So you just staring and shit? I'm gonna think you try to kill me or something.
Okay, so pay attention to that stare then. Pay attention to that stare.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask y'all a question. The questions I'm going to ask you kind of pertains to all of this is what's happening right here now.
I'm sorry, Professor Tit for Tat. We sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just saying.
I'm just playing.
Pay attention to that. Y'all talking about that stare. So that stare has something to play into this too, how all this is going to play out.
Yeah, be good, Bubs, before you get the Board of Education from Tit for Tat.
I'm over here being ratchet eating hot fries. I ain't worried about shit.
Claire?
That's right. Well, it's been 12 years at least. I almost dropped by your father's house not so long ago. I've thought of you so often.
Yeah, of course.
You know, since I've been here, I've hoped I might run into someone. Preferably you, though. And now you're here. I'll wager you haven't given me a thought. My husband John's here in business, banking business, and this heat, can you imagine?
That was your husband.
We've been here a whole week from Chicago. That's home. Although I come here and remember what home really is. Well, we can see lots of one another these days that I'm here, can't we?
I don't know. I mean, Claire. Does he?
No?
I haven't seen Fred for an unmentionable time.
Well, they have
Does he
twins.
what,
Isn't that
coochie?
wonderful?
Mm.
Boys, I love boys. I'd never risk it again, though. I went through hell those 9 months for fear Marjorie might turn out dark.
Mine are dark.
Oh. And your husband,
He couldn't exactly pass, if that's what you mean.
Oh, I thought. Anyway, she goes as white. So you haven't ever thought to?
What?
I'm asking if you ever thought of passing, Rena.
No, why should I? I mean, for convenience, occasionally, I suppose, but no. I just mean I have everything I've ever wanted. Except perhaps a little more money.
Well, of course, that's all anybody ever wants. A little more money. Money's an awfully nice thing to have. In fact, all things considered, I think it's entirely worth the price.
What have you told him? Of your family?
You know, I haven't had to worry as much as you'd think.
And you're happy?
Of course, Rainey. As you say, I have everything I ever wanted.
Sorry, Claire, that was rude of me. Of course you're happy. Look at you. That's enough, thank you.
Oh, have a drop more. You've hardly had any.
Nick.
John, dear.
Did y'all hear what he called her when he first walked in the door?
Wait. He said what? I thought he said something else. What he say?
He said, "Nig." Here, let me see.
Oh hell, oh Lord.
He said he called her
Sorry,
Nig.
Claire, that was rude of me. Of course you're happy. Look at you. That's enough, thank you.
Oh, have a drop more. You've hardly had any.
Nick.
John, dear.
Oh my!
I ran into
Told you
a
that
friend of mine from school.
Nay. I thought he said nay. Like,
No, he said
That's what I
Nig.
thought. He said no.
N-I-G. He said N-I-G, Nig.
Oh hell no. What this motherfucker look like?
No!
I want to see what this nigga look like. Let's see his face.
I thought it was
Irene
Nig. No, Nig. N-I-G.
oh my gosh. These people are American.
Irene, this is my husband, John Bellew.
Pleasure
He
to meet
would
you,
say
Mrs.
that,
Westover.
Actually, it's Mrs. Redfield.
Oh, of course, I didn't even think to ask. Do you hear what John called me, Reenie?
Oh, Claire, please.
No, go on. Tell her why.
Oh, it's silly. But when we were first married, this woman was as white as a lily. But as the years go by, she seems to be getting darker and darker. So I told her, if you don't look out, you'll wake up one morning and find that you've turned into a nigger. Yeah, she's been nig ever since.
My goodness, John. After all these years, what would it matter if you found out that I was 1 or 2% colored,
Now, and that's interesting how she's playing that to the hilt, like she's like passing, and she's putting how she's putting up with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Him saying that type of stuff in order for her to pass and to, you know, and to keep passing in society, she's just gonna put up with this type of rhetoric.
Yeah,
I guess it's all part of hospitality.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, but I
What'd you
think
say, Bob?
she's really just like showcasing this to. She's showcasing this to her because she did say, you know, if you want, you know, you should think about passing to make your life better. So she's see how she's looking at her. It's kind of like, yeah, this is what you got to do or whatever. But it's still very demeaning. But like she said, everybody got a price, and it's what the price look like.
Pay attention to that look, because I'm gonna ask y'all something about all these looks and all this type of stuff. I'm gonna ask you about it.
I'm already looking like
because they definitely they do a lot of body language. It's a lot of body language going on here. Now Joseph has seen this, so he probably already knows what I'm gonna say because he's seen the movie. So, but he probably knows what I'm gonna ask because there was a lot of controversy about it.
You can turn as black as you please as far as I'm concerned. I know you're not colored.
So you dislike Negroes, Mr. Bellew?
No, not at all. I hate them. But not as much as Nick does. For all she's trying to turn into one. She won't have them near her. Not even as a maid. Isn't that true?
Have you ever known any Negroes?
And she won't let them near her because they'll find if black people are around her, they're gonna know that she black. You know, that's why she don't want any other black people around her.
No. But I do know people who know them, and I read about them in the papers, of course. It's a terrible mess. Robbing, killing. It's sad, really.
The woman from Chicago you told me about running into.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see her again?
I haven't opened the letter.
It's postmarked New York.
I know.
They must have moved here.
Brian, I'm not going to see her.
Thought you said you two were good friends in school.
Brian, darling, I'd have to be an idiot not to realize if a man calls me a you-know-what, it's his fault the first time, but mine if I give him the opportunity to do it again.
Sure.
Oh.
May I?
Where the weed at?
The weed.
And then,
the weed. Where's the weed?
There was no weed during the time.
They probably put smoking
no weed.
They was doing coke and all that shit back there. So whatever that was.
Give me the weed. Fuck all the other shit. I want the weed. Where is that at?
But his look when he gets through reading this letter, just what he says and how he looks, it kind of, you know, gets your wheels turning of you know, kind of. Anyway,
I am so lonely. So lonely. Cannot help longing to be with you again.
Don't mock her. That's not fair.
I'm just reading it.
Fine.
You can't know how in this pale life of mine, I am all the time seeing the bright pictures of that other that I thought I was so glad to be free of. Well, come on, it's funny. She's very dramatic. It may be, Rini dear, that your way may be the wiser and infinitely happier one.
I'm flattered. Wiser. As if anything could rectify the humiliation.
There's more. I wouldn't feel this wild desire if I hadn't seen you. That's rich. Blaming you. Leave it. Huh? It's normal. They always come back.
Why? They have to work so hard at getting there. Why would they want to come back?
If I knew that, I'd know what race is.
You think they'd be satisfied being white?
Right. Who's satisfied being anything?
I am. Satisfied. I am. Darn it, the truth is, I'm very glad to see you, Claire. Very.
Oh, and I, you, Rainey. You can't imagine. Oh, I don't expect you to understand. You're happy. You have a true, good life. And you're free. Free and safe. Safe. I don't even know what that is anymore. So Hugh Wentworth's coming up to your dance, huh?
Yes, why not?
Curious to me. A man like that going to a Negro dance.
Hundreds of white people like you come to affairs in Harlem now.
Why?
Same reason you're here, to see Negroes. What are you doing, boys? To enjoy themselves, to get material, to gaze on the great and near great as they gaze on the Negroes.
Really? Suppose I come too.
Why? Because so many white people go?
No, because it'll be fun.
I don't know. What if somebody recognizes you?
I'll take my chances on getting by.
You'll be bored stiff.
I won't, honestly, I
I
won't.
won't be able to look after you.
Oh, but I'll be as good as gold. I'll just sit there and gaze at the great and not so great.
Look, I don't care what you do or where you go, but I don't see why you should put yourself in a place that might bring you trouble.
Damn, John. He gets in the way of everything I want. I could kill him.
I wouldn't. There's still capital punishment in this state, at least.
I want so much to be around Negroes again. Talk with them, hear them laugh. I've almost forgotten it. Damn. Well, I thought I'd never get better. I had such a few after I died. Truly.
How many cases I treated, and not all of them made it. So you're lucky.
Yes.
Of course, many more survived. My watch. I'm bragging.
What if you want? It's worth bragging about if it's true, no?
You may be right.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were here already.
Oh, don't worry. We made our own introductions.
Yeah, we did.
You look lovely, Rainey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid I may have chosen all wrong.
Rod. It's perfect.
Bianca, I'm outraged.
Please stay.
Triumph, the band is peachy.
Right.
Come on, Brian. We're going dancing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
God, look out, Flair. The man has 2 left feet.
Is that true?
No. Yes, it's true.
Well, let's give it a
What I'm trying to find out is the history and status of the blonde beauty out of the fairy tale that you've brought along. One currently seen dancing with your husband.
She's a girl from Chicago I used to know. She's very excited I know you.
Good of her, I'm sure. Can you spot my wayward wife in the throng? Ah, yes. The usual problem. All these gentlemen of color have driven a mere Nordic out of our minds. Have I laid eyes on her tonight, except in spots here and there being twirled
trying
about
to get a
by
train
some
wreck
Ethiopian? I have not.
Well, sir, you have to admit that the average colored man is a better dancer than the average white. That is, the celebrities who find their way up here are fair specimens of your sort.
Having not tripped the light fantastic with any of the males, I'm hardly in a position to argue the point. Bianca and Co. are always raving on about the good looks of some Negro, especially an unusually dark one, like Ralph Hazelton there. Dozens of women have declared him fantastically handsome. What do you think? Is he?
No. And I don't think anyone else would either. It's just plain exoticism. An interest in what's different. Kind of emotional excitement. Something you feel in the presence of something strange. And even perhaps a bit repugnant too.
And there you have it. So, do you subscribe to the notion that our motives for coming up here are predatory?
No. More curious, I should say.
Like your princess from Chicago. What is that supposed to mean?
Things aren't always what they seem, Hugh.
I'll be damned.
I'll be damned.
Nobody could tell from looking at her.
No. Most surprising. Tell me, can you always tell the difference?
Oh, now you really are sounding ignorant.
No, I mean it. Lots of people pass all the time.
It's easy for a Negro to pass for white. I'm not sure it'd be so simple for a white person to pass for colored.
Never thought of that.
No, Hugh. Why should you?
Sometimes I think you could.
Yes.
And in a way, if you can, why wouldn't you?
Sorry. Hey.
I'm asking, why wouldn't you?
Who's to say I'm not?
You're being unusually cryptic this evening.
And you are being an ass.
Oh!
I just mean, we're all of us passing for something or other. Aren't we?
This is your man.
What's that about?
Somebody called him a dirty. You know what? Today.
The rat steadied the bulb and pulled the chain, and light flickered.
There was a lynching in Little Rock. You hear about that?
What happened?
A black man was accused of assaulting 2 white women.
What did he do to them?
It's less a question of what than if, Ted.
But they lynched the man anyway.
Exactly.
Junior, go brush your teeth.
They chased him down.
Brian.
When they caught him, they hung him from a telephone pole, and then they shot him.
But why, Papa?
Because they hate us. So.
I said Brian, not now.
Oh!
Don't you realize I'm not like you one bit? Why, to get the things I want so badly, I'd do anything. Hurt anybody. Throw anything away. Anything. I'm not safe. Claire?
Oh, I'm sorry. Has May called? I don't know where she could be.
Oh, but we're late already, and well, it is my last night before I leave Europe.
Why don't I stay with the boys? And you You two go.
Really?
I don't mind.
No, we can't leave you.
Oh, yes, you can. And we'll make the numbers even. Go on now.
Where's Princess tonight? It's a rarity. I have the two of you all to myself.
She's in Europe. Her daughter's in boarding school. Switzerland, of all places. What?
Nothing, just, what do you know about Switzerland?
Well, I shouldn't miss her too much. I find her hard work.
Well, some would say the same of you.
True. But I call it shameless, what she does. Always playing the victim. Poor little tragic me, etc. It's a low way of making yourself popular.
I don't think that's fair.
I didn't quite finish. But she does maintain a certain charm.
You hardly know the woman. And since she isn't here to defend herself...
You will? Very chivalrous of you, I'm sure.
Happier having Claire around, so.
How has Claire got to do with any of this?
Only that we would have gone on a trip but for that.
No, I gave up that idea because you objected.
I never objected to having Claire.
God damn it! Irene, I'm not talking about Claire.
Because it seems
And
to
I'm
me,
not talking about a trip. I am talking about leaving
because
this
it seems to
country
me
for good.
you are a lot less content with what you've got when she's not here. Bother those people coming at tea. Thank goodness everything is ready.
Claire's downstairs.
Claire? How? I didn't invite her purposely.
Well, she's been back for a while. Zoo's always taking messages, and you never seem to respond. Might a mere man ask why?
This party is for you, and Hugh happens not to care a great deal for her, so I didn't ask her.
Come out of it, whatever it is. You look like the second grave digger.
I'm not quite feeling up to par. The weather, I guess.
Buy yourself an expensive frock, child. It always helps. I have been trying to get her alone all afternoon. Claire! You look too divine, sitting so quiet like a penguin. Will you come to ours for a little gathering next month?
Felice, I was telling Dave I just finished his book.
You've read his book?
Well, of course I have. I've read all of them.
So sorry, Rini. I must have pushed you. Clumsy of me.
Heavens, my eyes are watering. I fear my fingers might fall off. This wind is brutal.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, Mrs. Redfield. How do you do?
That was abrupt.
You just passed the only person I ever met while disguised as a white woman.
Have you ever been up to the 6th floor?
Of course. My father was a janitor. Back in the good old days when every ramshackle apartment had its own elevator.
Elevator.
Oh, you can't mean we have to walk up.
All the way to the top.
Oh, Lord.
Why on earth would anyone live here?
She says it discourages the casual visitor. Says she'd rather be dead than bored.
Huh.
Ugh. Damn, these thin shoes. What is it, Rainey?
Have you ever thought of what you'd do if John found out?
Yes.
Don't fall by the wayside before the 4th floor. I absolutely refuse to carry anybody up more than 2 flights.
And? What would you?
Don't stand there. Aren't you freezing? Come talk to me. Or at least listen to me gabble.
Can I help you? Let me in. Hey, perhaps you've come to the wrong house. I know where I am. Let me in. Which apartment are you looking for, sir? My wife is your wife? No, sir, she's not here. I guarantee you. Excuse me. I think you're wrong. I'm not wrong. Do not come in. Sir, calm down. What's going on? Stand out of my way. Can I help you? I've been to the Redfield and I know she's with it.
Ralph, where's my drink?
Save yourself the trouble and get out of
You are happy now.
I'm Redfield. What the devil's matter?
You get to tell me what to do.
Any of you people, at best you leave.
You liar!
Careful. You're the only white man here.
Dirty liar.
Felt some weird energy. I knew it.
Oh. My God. Good Lord Jesus.
Hurry! Quickly!
She fell out the window. He pushed her out. But you know what? She said she wasn't safe.
Right.
The blonde. She knew that the husband was going to get her.
You
make excuses.
I mean, she just tumbled.
I was right there beside her, weren't you?
This lady here.
You're sure she fell? Her husband didn't give her a shove or anything like that, as Dr. Redfield here seems to think.
No, I'm quite sure she just fell before anyone could stop her. It was so quick.
Yeah. Any of the rest of you notice anything? None of you saw how she ran out.
He was upset. It's true.
So, an accident.
I guess. Accident. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
You have to create a lie because of him.
Look how everybody's looking.
Listen.
Okay, so here's my question. Before I get into y'all commentary. Here's my first question. Who's passing? Claire, Irene, or both?
The one with the blonde, I would say.
Uh-huh.
A little bit more. Because she actually tried to blend more into, the white side more because of her blonde hair, her makeup, the skinny eyebrows, because that was more popular in the day with the eyebrows like that. You know what I mean? Like it goes up like this, what women had and all that. So no one could tell, you know what I mean, that she was black or anything. So she was really passing on that. Definitely. Even though I could tell she is mixed. I could tell. I could tell both of them that they are mixed. But yeah.
What about you, Bubs and Joseph? What do y'all who y'all think? Y'all think who was passing? Was both of them passing or just one?
Well, one passed more than the other. The
Yeah,
other
I'm about to
one
say
did,
both of them did. Yeah.
certain conveniences. If she was in a store, she wanted to be treated a certain sort of way, she would do it. But the other one was her whole lifestyle.
Agreed. Agreed. That's what I was gonna say. Yep. Both of them were passing to just certain degrees of passing. So.
So here's my next question.
Oh shit.
Passing is what?
Yeah, pop quiz and shit like the actual the definitions and stuff. I was too busy looking at the movie.
Passing. What do y'all think they were passing as?
A white woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
White woman, straight women.
Okay, Joseph.
I thought he was on the line. There's a little bit of something going on here.
Because she was doing this. She was doing this. I noticed that she was doing this. She was doing a little Philly touchy on that girl. So she was like
but
that.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a passing like everyone said to be white again, to be in proximity of that power. Even though when imagine you coming home and your motherfucker walking in the house talking about some hey nig, what? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like she had to. So she gotta because she has to deal with that. But it's like again, look at what I get. I don't get to be associated with them, even though that's how the universe works. It'd be so funny. Like the more you resist, the more shit will persist. So it's like even though her ass is trying to escape being black and trying to pass as white, her own motherfucking man was still reminding her in ways that was subtle that he didn't even know. And then for her to lose her life at the end, it's just like at the end of the day, if you don't love your damn self, this could be a reality. And yes, there are some people who are survived, but like who can survive, but like she said, for how long?
Right.
How long?
She also risked having a baby too. That's why she said she didn't want to have any more kids too, because just because that first one came out white, that doesn't mean that them other ones would have came out white.
Okay.
You know, and she didn't want to risk that again. But yeah, she risked even having a baby because even back then, if you got found out from being like you were passing for white or something, you could have been killed or put in jail or put into a what they call a mental institution, what they called a sanatorium back then.
Yeah.
So if you got found out, not only being ostracized from the community that you were passing in or you passed up or whatever. But you say passing, and so Joseph, you say. But they were also passing it. They could have been now. Because if you watch the movie, they alluded a lot to them, like they in their early years as teenagers, that they were like having sex. They might have been like a little lesbian couple or whatever. So they also could be passing as heterosexual, also passing as white, but also passing as a heterosexual when they really might be bisexual, because
I'll just be facetious.
But if you look at it or whatever, just as when Rennie asked Claire, does your husband know? She could be alluding to both things. She could be alluding to, does he know that you're passing for white? I mean, that you're black. Does he know that you're black? That you're black. And also, does he know that that you might have been a that you had a lesbian affair? He could have been either of those.
Tipping and dipping.
Right.
But also too, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot their names, but the one girl, I know you're like, who the girl you talking about? The girl that was her husband, right? The black dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that
Irene.
Irene, that was her husband she was in bed with.
Okay, is it me? Or did it seem like Irene's husband, the old girl, was just a little too motherfucking like close
to the husband with the blonde?
Yeah, like she was doing a little too much.
That's
It's
what I
kind of like,
noticed.
okay, bitch, what's going on?
Because she was looking too, like she was slowly going
At
down
this motherfucking point, at this motherfucking point, ain't gonna be nobody in the damn house. Grandma gotta be outside. Everybody gotta be outside. Ain't gonna be no bitch in the house when my man is home. That's what it smelled was giving, cause she all up on him and shit like that. And I'm sitting here like, every time, or you can go ahead and go with her. What?
Well, you know, there's
This
some
nigga
women
free
that
pass
have
to get some pussy.
question.
You know what I mean? They have that exotic. You know, they were like the starlight. You know, they like the star. You know, they were like, you know what I mean?
I wish a motherfucker would be dancing with my damn partner and they dancing better than how we had sex, bitch. What is this about?
That was my next question. Did Claire? I didn't even type it correctly. I misspelled. I said, did Claire have sex? I meant to say, did Claire have sex with Irene's husband? I said, did Claire of sex? I meant to say, did Claire have sex with Irene's husband? What do y'all think? Did y'all think she was messing around with Claire's husband? Because you know, she also said when Claire and her was on the steps, she also said that you're not like me, Rennie. You know, and I do things to get what I want.
I thought you said, and I douche to get what I want. I'm about to say, what?
Douche, no. She does things to get what I want. Do y'all think that she was? And Twanlet, I'm gonna answer your question here. I'm gonna answer your question here next, because Twanlet put a question up in the comments too, and that was actually one of my next questions too. But do y'all think that Claire? Y'all think that Claire's husband was having an affair with her or had sex with her? Because did y'all see the look that Claire had? You know, I mean, not Claire, but Irene. You see them looks that she was giving her, and then at the end, she didn't want to invite her to that last party. You know, so it was like she was having suspicions and stuff that they might, you know, to me, like they might have been messing around or something. What do y'all think?
For me, they was about to. I think she potentially was about to do it. I think she was going potentially. Because I don't think they had sex yet. Because the thing is, she was potentially trying to get him aroused, and you know what I mean. You know, she was giving out that vibe. You know what I mean. You know how that girl with the blonde, she just gives. I can tell her energy. She just gives off that, you know, that 1940s vibe. Like, oh, I still got it. Even though I'm with my husband, I still got it. I still got it. You know.
But for me, I have not seen the film, so I'm going to just, you know, guess here and assume. But hell yeah. The way she was dancing with the motherfuckers and shit, especially that other dude and shit, getting swooned and shit, and you see her moving her back and shit like this in the corner, like she wants something. And then on top of that, it was kind of funny because if she's assimilating to this life of being white, it's kind of like when you look at the other white lady when that dude was talking about his wife and how she was out there with all them black men, and I said, yeah, she trying to get a train ran on her. She said, my man can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? All them black men around her.
She was in a whole world.
So maybe it could have still been like in that image of like how, again, with the proximity of whiteness, probably again in the word that you butchered, which I butchered too, fetish size. Okay, that word. Okay, maybe that could also be a psychological thing too, because again, she's playing that role. She's been playing it for so long to where she has to do whatever she can to stay in it, and even when she does, she's still not safe enough. And then on top of that, I wish I would sit there and try to have a conversation with somebody that is across the room looking like this.
But it was her friend. She didn't recognize her at first. You know, she finally recognized her. But that look could have gave it away.
Hold on. If you is my friend, I need for you to be like, hey, friend, it's been a long time. You don't stand there.
Yeah, she didn't recognize her at first, but she came up to her.
That's creepy as fuck. I'd have been like, who is this crazy bitch looking at me like this? Do I know you? Do I need to grab something to throw at you?
But that look was like a look from longing, like, oh, I remember what we did. You know, that look was like, oh, there's Ring. And
I guess look like
who knows?
That looked like a look about in a vampire movie when they found their next prey, just staring at your ass, just looking at you, trying to mesmerize or glamour your ass and shit. They said the eyes are the window of the soul, bitch. The fuck? I'm like, did we do something in the past? I don't remember. What's going on here? That's just weird as fuck. Somebody just staring at you like that. That's so weird to me. I'd be like, oh, I gotta go. I would be like, Viola Davis, let me grab my shit and go. This is how horror movies start, bitch. It's enough in the 1940s where they killing niggas in the open and shit. Girl, let me go. I thought it was gonna be some Jordan Peele shit at first. I'm like, this is a Jordan Peele movie before he became the Jordan Peele or something. I don't know. A good movie choice.
So that
movie
look,
selection.
when she did that look, when the camera was like, watch, when the camera was like, because she was looking back and forth, like, when she was like, I'm like,
and that would have been my ass right there throwing shit at her ass, bitch. What is he looking at?
that shit was.
Lord, y'all can tell I'm the class clown. I'm sorry, Professor Tifa T. Let's continue. I'm sorry for fucking up the lesson plan. My apologies.
Here's the last question.
I'll go to.
Was Claire pushed? Did she jump? Did she accidentally fall out the window? Was it an accident?
She pushed her because you didn't catch when she opened that door. And when she was seeing the husband, she back. That hand was right there. She pushed out that window. She was like, "Well, child, I'd rather me kill you than he do it."
So you don't think Claire's arm was like right there, just holding to keep him from getting close to her? And so you think Claire actually did like this and pushed her out the window?
I feel like Rennie pushed Claire.
Rennie pushed Claire.
Well, her hand was right there. That hand moved, and next thing you know, Mama was on the pavement.
And so why do you think she pushed
guided her ass out?
I was just like, well, I'd rather kill her than he do it.
You think so? You think she was protecting her then from him doing it?
That's what I saw this movie like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I think that's why she did it.
I'm thinking like, wouldn't the smarter thing to do was to grab her ass and move her out the way so the white man could fall out the window?
I know, right?
That would have been a better.
Y'all don't think that he pushed her, or that she jumped out herself, or she accidentally fell out. She was so close to it that Claire, it was an accident that Claire had her arm so close to her that if she touched her, then she would have accidentally fell out the window, or she was so close that she just fell out backwards herself, and it looked like Claire pushed her out, or her husband pushed her out.
At this damn point, this could be a damn murder mystery. At this point, with all these damn clues and shit.
Here's how it happened. I think the husband was pushed. He was trying to get to her by running like a football player to me.
Yeah, pushing.
And I think that he pushed her friend into her where it caused her in the back to fall out the window. So it was like a domino effect.
5 times, girl. When did it happen?
Okay. All right.
I mean, to be honest, it really depends on how you look at it, because when you set that question up, it literally could be all 3. In a sense, it happens so fast.
It's very ambiguous.
Don't know.
It's very ambiguous.
Yeah, and I like how it kind of led up to that, because again, with old girl talking about how long she's gonna last, maybe she was like, her husband here, and he hate black people. So the fact that my fantasy finna end, I might as well end it my damn self. So it was just interesting how.
Damn, it was 1929. I thought it was in the 40s.
Oh wow.
It was 1929.
Well, this was a remake. This
still the style.
This one was just made. Yeah, this one was just made in 2019. But the movie was about a book that was, the old film, the original film. Was back in 2021 off of the book that they wrote about it.
Okay.
And then, but they made this remake of it in 2019.
Oh, okay, I got you. But yeah, it just depends on your perspective or whatever. But shout out to her. You know what I'm saying? May she rest in peace.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I guess Miss Stevie's gone. So
unfortunately.
but that's how colorism plays out. Like I talked about it. My aspect of it from my family point of view. Um, at the beginning of the show, and and I heard all of that. I heard all of that, and as far as like how black people have these big noses, big lips. That's all forms of colorism. White names that we where like job discriminations and stuff, like that with, how they can tell by, like on applications by if you have like this ethnocentric name instead of like a white name, like whatever, you know what I mean? And how they discriminate those types of ways and, your big lips and hair, like we talked about earlier, you got, oh, they got nappy hair. And then, how some black people, mainly women, and stuff, like that, how they would straighten their hair or do stuff, get certain perms or straighten their hair and stuff. So it, because some black people grew up where they say, oh, you had, their hair, even in our families or whatever, oh, you got nappy hair or, and they wanted to be kind of get adjacent to whiteness or whatever. Some people would straighten their hair to make it, seem like it can be more white or updo their hair in certain hairstyles that white women were wearing so that they can, not people who were passing, but just on the colorism aspect, so that they wouldn't get get talked about or put down in their families or looked at, less favorably than somebody in their family, like a brother or sister or sibling or somebody else that was lighter skinned or who might have had curlier or shorter. And we see that with guys, with even in the gay community, in the black gay community and stuff. We see that or even in the heterosexual community, we see it with guys who, and women too, but mainly with men who date white women or marry white women, or guys in the gay community who only want to date white people, or or somebody that's lighter skinned, or and they'll say like it's a preference, oh, this is just my preference, but it really kind of boils down to like you're discriminating against your own race, especially if you don't date any other people. If you only date light skinned people, or you only date white women, and or you only date white men, and you don't consider like black people or other ethnicities or anything like that, and you discard them, or you don't want to talk to them or whatever because they have dark skin. And we do it with eyes and stuff too, because people can be looking at certain black people's eyes, and if they have gray, green eyes or gray eyes, and and curly hair or whatever, they'll say, oh, they got good hair, oh, they got good hair, or they got, they got pretty light
Or
eyes
they
and
mix
stuff.
with something. Yeah.
They mix with something, it's all of those different types of terms and stuff, like well, she's high yellow, or he's light skinned, or he's yellow, or he's too dark, or he's blackety black, or whatever, or how people use terms to describe us, and we use some of the same terms that the slave masters used on us. We use some of the same terms to this day. And that's all like forms of colorism and all of that stuff that we perpetuate in our own family.
I agree. No shade.
Comfortable barking at her in a black space.
I wish that motherfucker do that shit now.
Yeah. But so
go to the hood, go to the hood and scream out "nig" and see what happens. Please do. It's your country. Show us.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that that's my take on like color. It happens in our family. It happens in jobs. Some people don't even know that they're being discriminated. The colorism is going on even in their jobs, or they're being discriminated because of their color. How a light-skinned person and a dark-skinned person can both go in for the same job interview, and you probably like 9 times out of 10, even if both of y'all have the same qualifications, or if the darker skin even has more qualifications, they can go into the same interview And then sometimes the darker skinned person can, just from them being dark, darker skin, or they might be tall and big or whatever, that's intimidating to like white, to white people who are hiring, and then and that can, that's like intimidating. And they might hire the light skinned person over the dark skinned person, probably 9 times out of 10, even if they're not as qualified, just because that person, it's like white. I mean, like basically white privilege. They're closer to whiteness than blackness, and they might get favored and hired over that person. And I've seen that happen, before. And a lot of times you don't even know that you're being discriminated with, because you're not going to know that it's colorism, but it is colorism. It's discrimination, but it's also, colorism. And then and they do the same thing, and they do the same thing with black and white too. A black person can go in there in the same job interview and be more qualified than the white person, but that white person, sometimes, like 9 times out of 10, that white person might get hired over that black person, because of their whiteness.
Agreed.
Y'all have anything to say on that?
Yes, to your point, especially taking it into the realm of the queer community. Yes, colorism is very much a big issue. Me and some of my other supporters have had conversations about this a lot, especially those that are in the scene, and just how one of them also is like darker than the other one as far as friends or whatever. When they go out to the club, their lighter skinned friend gets more of the attention, a whole lot of it. But
I've seen
again,
that
I
a lot.
think what conversations we need to have in reference to that too is that it's still a fetishization. Okay, it is still that, because these individuals only want you for a certain particular reason, and that's to enhance whatever it is that they have, which is why they want these people on their arms. They don't really love these people, care about these people, want to get to know these people. More so, they're being seen as, I guess, what I'm looking for, accessories to complement what being a man is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like they are doing whatever they can to be validated, and that is a white gaze. First of all, that's under the white gaze, not GAYS, but GAZE, the white gaze. From both of the films, the aspect of under the white gaze, if I'm good under the white gaze, if the white gaze find me acceptable, then again, with it being the way that it is and it's fucked up or whatever, I have an opportunity to survive, but it's not guaranteed that I'm going to survive. Because in the first film, she survived as far as outliving her mother, but as far as the energetic aspect, she has to live with that and deal with that for the rest of her life. In this concept, this individual knew that she was stuck. She knew that she was not safe, and when that opportunity came, whether she wanted to or not, she became free. So it's kind of tragic on both ends, which means that if these individuals would have loved themselves, they would have not manifested this situation happening to them. If old girl would have learned to love herself and accept the black part of her and to blend both of those things together, then her mother still would have probably been alive. You know what I'm saying? Or if homegirl would have loved her damn self, she probably would have not been in a position to get pushed out the damn window. Maybe if she would have divorced her husband and fucked the man that she was dancing with on the floor, he probably would have whooped his ass for trying to walk up on his damn woman so that her ass can be alive and that motherfucker dead. I'm just saying. So at the end of the day, excuse me, we have to change the narrative and we have to become more radical as far as, I'm not talking about radical as far as trying to actively harm those that are oppressing us, but to disengage from their system and then protect ourselves very fiercely in case, they want to get some sort of retribution, because that's exactly what Project 2025 is about. It's retribution for all of the advancements that all these people have made, that our communities have made. They want to destroy all that. So it's kind of like weird to me how we are watching these films that are over 50 years old, close to 100 years old, even the remakes and the originals and stuff like that, that we're still having the same conversation. If we're still having the same conversation, I'm gonna start looking at y'all motherfuckers like this.
Oh, you gonna look at her like Claire? He gonna look at him like Claire.
And then I'm gonna turn around and throw some. And then I'm gonna turn around and throw some T.S. Madison on it when she says this.
Go ahead.
Cause mommy. You gonna be fucking with y'all niggas like that because he like me because I'm passing. Cause see, mommy. I gotta ever worry about that nigga shit that y'all gotta deal with. EBT and all that type of shit, bitch. I'm living eating good, girl. Cause mommy. Yeah, he might call me a nigga and shit, and he might be saying all type of racist shit to me when we fucking or whatever. But see, the money is good, cause of mommy.
I'm just saying, like we have to change the way we had these conversations. We have to, because if not, this can be any of us. Quiet as it's kept. This could be any of us, especially going forward. Any of us on this platform could deal with that form of discrimination, and they want to get back to that point to where they ain't gotta watch their words and mince their words and try to be progressive and stuff. They can go back to what the fuck they really want. They've been showing us this, and now they're in the positions of power to make that shit happen. So at this point, black people, what the fuck are we going to do? And like Jay said earlier, where are the strategists at? Where are the forerunners at? Where are the activists at? Where are all these people at? We need all of this. It's not just marching, because they've already prepared for that. They're already militarized. They already know what the fuck. They already know how to respond. They've upgraded their response to us. We haven't. So it's like we have to start doing things to change the narrative. And if anything, what we can do right now is to hit these people in their pockets. That's one big way to hit them. And then invest into blackness. But it'll always be this way if we don't come together collectively and do something. So, no shade.
Joseph, Deshaun, anything before we get out of here?
No.
Yeah.
He hit the nail on the head. Facts. No lies told.
Yeah, and plus, like I said, if people want to assimilate into weakness, that's on them. Because they're allowing themselves to be in the repeated cycle as well. Just to piggyback off of that, no matter what you are, no matter what color you are, no matter what sexuality you are, if you are rolling over and dying like that, you are doomed to repeat the same cycle of being you're going to suffer, just like those people back in the day. So I would advise you to get the fuck up and stop trying to let other people tell you and dictate who you are. Because you know who you are. They're trying to force you to be something that you're not. And you need to stop that. That shit is so weak. It's very weak, and I'm tired of it. It is absolutely embarrassing. Let me tell you something. Did you know? Oh, wait. Let me tell you something. Did you know that, like I said, you know that the word homosexuality wasn't made until 1946?
Oh yeah, most of our language, most of the language that we use, a lot of it didn't come into play until like 18th and 19th century, and we take it as gospel and stuff. I mean, that's just like, the word homosexuality, all of that stuff, that was not in, they didn't have all that stuff in the Bible and all that type of stuff. A lot of that didn't, just like the word, woman, how everybody get into this trans debate on women and men, whatever and stuff. And I'm a real woman, I'm a bio woman and stuff like that. That didn't even come into play until like somewhere around the late 18th, 19th century, where it even showed, where they even put it in the dictionary, because the legal scientific word for a biological woman is actually female. That's why anybody, if you want to call yourself a female, you can be a female. I mean, a woman, you can't be a female because a female is actually the biological female, but a woman is can be
Social
anybody.
construct.
Yeah, it's just a social construct, just like race is a social construct, because we're all the human race, where there's no black race, white race, Mexican race, any of the stuff, like that. Those are all ethnicities
Thank you, universe.
within
Thank you.
inside the with inside the human race. But we just say black race and black, white, Mexican or whatever. That's just what we're used to saying, but that's not really scientific.
Agreed.
Whatever. So go ahead, Deshaun. What were you going to say?
All right, so here it is. I'm going to turn this up. Here we go.
To say that the Bible condemns homosexuality the way that we understand homosexuality is completely laughable because, first of all, the word didn't exist until the late 1860s. The idea of sexual orientation didn't exist until the 1800s, and it certainly didn't appear in the Bible until 1946. And the original translators who added homosexual to the Bible, the Revised Standard Version, later admitted that they made a mistake and corrected it in a later translation. By that time, the New International Version had taken it, applied it to 6 other verses, and the damage was already done. And at the time, evangelicals really didn't care about gay rights the same way they didn't really care about abortion. So why does the right cling to this as this one big culture war issue? Well, I can tell you, it's racism. Because on November 30th of 1970, the IRS rolled up to Bob Jones University and said, hey, we're going to take away your tax-exempt status unless you stop with these racial discriminatory practices, including the fact that they wouldn't allow unmarried black people to attend the college. They also wouldn't allow for interracial dating. Bob Jones says, fuck you, we're going to do what we want. They did lose their tax-exempt status in 1976, which is a lot of retroactive back taxes. This goes all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court upholds the IRS decision in 1983, saying that your religion does not give you the right to discriminate. Now, there were other evangelicals doing the exact same thing that Bob Jones University was doing and having segregatory private Christian schools, including Jerry Falwell. But Nixon and Ford, because they were supported by the evangelical right, didn't really have a reason to get involved. Enter Jimmy Carter in 1977, who was not going to let them slide on that. And this is the reason that evangelicals absolutely hate him, is he bucked heads with Jerry Falwell and LCA and Liberty University and says, you are either going to end racially discriminatory practices or I'm coming for your tax-exempt status. And he fought Jerry Falwell. This is why they hate Jimmy Carter, because he was an actual Christian and they aren't. Because LCA, Liberty Christian Academy, was opened in 1967 as a segregatory school so that rich white kids in the South would not have to attend school with black children. Now, Jerry Falwell was pissed by this, as was Pat Robinson and Tim LaHaye. Yes, it's that Tim LaHaye. But they also didn't have enough political movement to vote for racism anymore. Segregation was no longer a popular topic. Enter political strategist Paul Weyrich, who was also the reason that they latched onto abortion. Roe had just gotten overturned, and now they had the gay agenda that they could claim that the moral majority was against to protect Christian values. It was revenge in order to be able to keep their segregatory schools. This is also the reason, this rhetoric from the evangelicals is the reason that the AIDS epidemic was as bad as it was, because Reagan chose to ignore it because people like Jerry Falwell were preaching that this was due punishment for homosexuality, a word that never appeared in the original Bible. This has always been about white supremacy and racism, and it's due to the fact that these Christian evangelicals did not want to desegregate their schools and offer equal opportunity to black people.
Right.
And equal opportunity. To say that the Bible condemns homosexuality the way
yeah, someone is calling me out of nowhere, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the real truth on that.
I love her content. She's really good as far as breaking
I do
down
too.
whatever.
I like
What
her,
I mean-
and that other Southern lady who comes on with that real deep Southern accent that Miss Stevie be sending through the chat. I like listening to her stuff too.
Deep Southern accent.
She's got like short hair, and she's white, and she's got the short hair, and her Southern accent is really, really thick.
Does she be cussing people out?
I saw
She
Miss
will-
Henry.
Yes,
She
is it
will
Miss Henry? Hmm?
I don't know her name, but
I love Miss Henry.
Tyrant Jr., maybe it's because
but
Dr. Jill
she be sending through the chat all the time. Different
I love
ones.
Miss Henry.
What she's talking about.
What she say? It's taking everything in my soul today to now whoop your motherfucking ass. Meet me at the Walmart, bitch, 11 o'clock. I love her. This was a good live. This is probably going to be the shortest live we've done.
I know that, yeah, but the other ones, they be like 4 and 5, 6 hours. So, we're getting out of here early today. That's good, huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with that, because I still got shit I got to work on. I got to check on, I got to call somebody back, and then I got to work on this script, because I think Twan said in the comments, I guess the ending, as far as that last clip you showed us, he said that was dark as hell. If y'all think that's dark, y'all not gonna be prepared for my shit.
I'm ready for it. I want to see what you got to
Oh, T
say.
for T, I hope so, because all the themes that we're talking about, it's like, as far as white supremacy, I am going to, like, the way that I have Chat GPT talking, because there's like certain prompts that you can create, and I had it talk like a god, basically. So
Oh, so it
I
talks. ChatGPT, it talks.
well, I mean, I'm not saying it's, I guess when you put the prompt in to talk like a god, it means with that when it's when it's appearing on the screen, it's going to be speaking in the tone of a god. And
Oh, okay.
because I'm doing like a 3-chapter review on Blame It on the Dress, I'm not doing the whole entire chapter because no shade, it's gonna take a lot of, I mean, entire book, because it's gonna take a long time to do. So, and if they want the whole book, they're gonna have to compensate me. No shade, I'm gonna have to create an OnlyFans or something, and they're gonna have to see it there or something. No shade, like no shade, because it's a lot of, and I ain't talking about in that way. It's even though I do need to work. Even though I do need to work on that project that I was telling you about, Deshaun, as far as that voice acting thing or whatever. But as far as my project or whatever, it's going to be very dark. It's going to be spoken through the lens of white supremacy, the god of white supremacy. It's a corny ass name, but the way Chat GPT got this motherfucker set up, it's going to be like a grueling process watching this, because there's going to be a lot of things thrown in the black community's face that black people do unconsciously, because we've dealt with it so much over the years. We've been beaten into it. Again, the colorism is a byproduct of white supremacy that we, even though we're aware of it, we still know that we can, or there are other people who also do play in that way of thinking that continues to perpetuate the cycle of abuse that we're dealing with. So it's like that God is going to be really speaking, and all I'm saying is it's something that you're gonna have to experience, but it's going to be very, very dark. Dark. I'm talking about like extremely dark. I'm talking about like Castlevania dark. I'm talking about Vampire Hunter D dark. I'm talking about like Berserker dark. I'm talking about like so dark, but it's transformative. Like one of my favorite films is Tales from the Hood, the first one. The other two is trash, but the first one is my favorite. So like that type of darkness, but it has a message to it, and it's also going to be a promotional thing for Blame It on the Dress. So it's going to be a hell of a promo for him. So, you know,
Well, give him your YouTube channel and your other channels where they can follow you in case, so people want to
follow
come in
me.
and subscribe.
Yes, I want you to please, if you want to, if you like my vibe, you can subscribe to me here on YouTube. Again, Bubs the God. Okay, we on the road to 1K. We at what, 885, I think, right now. So we on the rise up there. Also make sure that you subscribe to Conscious TV.
You're like 880, not 85. You're like 885 subscribers.
That's what I mean. 800. I said 885.
Oh, I thought you said 85.
I'm talking fast. I'm kind of stimulated right now.
You're taking away some of your credit. You're taking away some of your
Oh, no. It's 885. Thank you.
Right.
885. But also make sure you subscribe to Conscious TV as well. I'm going to, once I finish recording everything, I'm going to edit the trailer for it, and I'm shooting to drop the trailer like on the first week of June. That's my goal. And then what's going to happen is that for the first episode, you guys are going to be able to watch it on Conscious TV's platform, and then for the other two, you'll be able to come back and watch it or other three, shall I say, you'll be able to come back and watch it on my platform. But I'm excited. Once I get this script done and once I get recording done, then I'll feel much better, because the editing process is not going to be hard for me, because I love to edit. But it's just a creation process. But make sure that y'all stay on the lookout. So again, YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram, Bubs the God. And if you definitely want to hit a nigga up in the Cash App, you definitely can too. $, Bubs the God, baby. I'm in the era of receiving. I give and give and give and give, and you have to receive. That's how you stay blessed. You got to bless people in order to be blessed, and really create a habitual mindset. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, you know, if you want to be blessed in a certain type of way, or I've blessed you in some type of way, you can go ahead and hit the Cash App. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Conscious TV. He's a little under the weather today because he might have popped in. You know, because he pops in sometime on our channel here, on my channel here. And
yeah, I heard he wasn't feeling well.
But he wasn't feeling well today earlier. So you know, get the feeling well. Conscious. CTV.
But it's always when Conscious look his best, it's like he's not feeling well. Like, what in the world? Like, he was looking his best with his hair like that. Like, he was giving like Aaliyah, like,
Yeah, I
He's a
like
boss
that.
ass bitch, so that's what happened.
But gray hair, like, yeah, like in the wind, you know, the hair that was flourishing through the wind and stuff. I wish he had that energy, like, you know what I mean? But, you know.
Yeah, we know that's T for T little crush.
Yeah.
He's cute to me though. You know what I mean? He's cute to me, and I like his style. You know, he comes in. But you know, actually, all of y'all are cute to me because I be looking at y'all too with y'all eyebrow. I mean, I be looking at y'all eyebrows and y'all eyes because both of y'all, you and Deshaun, both got pretty eyes, and then y'all eyebrows. Whatever. I don't know if y'all shape them or if that's the way they are, but I like the way
Mine's
they are.
naturally like this. I just put the slits in them. That's
your
all.
eyes. Yeah, I be looking. Y'all just don't know. I done told
So that's why
I
you
be
got us
looking
on the
at y'all-
panel. So that's why
You
you
said
got us on the panel.
when I first saw y'all though, because I knew Deshaun first, you know. And
I'm
then
just
when he
playing, I'm just
popped
playing.
up, you know, because I didn't know what he looked like at first. And then when he popped up, I was like, oh, look at them eyes on him and them eyebrows. And then when you came on, when he, you know, introduced me to you, it's the same thing. I was like, damn, they got pretty eyes.
Where these eyebrow niggas at?
Eyebrows. It's just accent.
It's okay, pimpin'.
No, but y'all, you know, all of y'all.
You know, you handsome too, man.
Harold and all of y'all are, you know, really nice looking guys.
Now we over here acting like some gay heterosexual niggas complimenting each other. What's up? Oh, your hair
Yeah,
nice, bro. Your shoes, man, them shoes clean, Pippin. Oh.
And I'll be looking at Miss Stevie's eyes too, you know, because she puts that white, you know, she does her eyes, they're real pretty because she puts that white up under her.
Yeah, she gives
off
off,
or whatever.
You know,
it accents it somehow that just it makes it stands out, you know. And then she'll give these certain looks, and then her eyes will just pop.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I think all of y'all are really good.
We are all beautiful in our own way.
Yeah, y'all actually are not even in your own way. Y'all just good looking, period. So
You sound like a white lady real quick.
Like I said, every time I see Miss Stevie, all I think about is, ooh, there goes my skirt and everything else. Like, ooh, I look, you know what I mean? I had to catch my breath. Like, it's like she doesn't realize she should love herself. You know what I mean? Like, she needs to become Tweet. Tweet need to give her some points. Like, you know, you better be loving your skin because
she's
like
pretty.
you look so attractive. It's like you gotta catch your breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my, you know.
She never comes on when she's on our channel. When she comes on our channels, though, she never shows herself on here. But you know, she does her own lives, and you know, she's always talking with them movie stars and singers and actors and actresses and beauty fashionista people and you know all those runway people. She's always got doing those interviews. All
that's
types.
because she's not ready. That's
You said
really
what?
why that's because she's not ready. Like she's got to be like all. If you want to see her, she's got to be all in her all. So
right. Yeah. By the time we come on, she's already done. You know, she's already winded down, taking off her makeup.
Let's go to that movie again. Let's go to that movie.
I'd have to go. I don't took it down. What do you go? Okay, go back to the movie. What you want to say?
Okay, so let's go back to the movie where she was white, the blonde hair. She was white passing, and she was over the lap of the husband, right? So Bub, he was in her shoes, and he said to say, Nick, and then on his lap. This is the gay version. And then the other gay, and then let's just say the woman, and then the other gay, the dude. Let's just say the other light skinned girl is the dude, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna take that?" or whatever he was gonna say. Like, "Oh, you saying the N word?" And then the same white guy saying, "Yep, I say the N word. Yep, these niggers and all that other stuff." Like, I don't let that be around Bubs. You know what I mean? I don't let that be around Bubs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
You said around Bubs.
Below him.
Did you say Bubs? I don't let it be around Bubs.
This me sitting on my man lap, rubbing his shoulder while he talking.
Oh my god.
See my man.
Oh my god.
That was so freaking funny.
That's right, baby. This is my man. Stood up, bitch.
That look, that stare.
It's like a deer lost the headlights. Now I'm having nightmares about that bitch. I swear, Lord, that's gonna be so scary.
Oh my
That's
god.
one of my scariest fears is to wake up and somebody just in your face with eyes big and shit in your face. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Put me on the big screen real quick so I can look and talk to the people listening real quick. Put me on the big screen. To my future nigga, if you think it's ever funny to do that shit, do not get mad when I punch you in the face. I'm gonna punch twice. And I might throw a kick in there. Don't get mad at me. Okay, you can take me off now. I just want to say that.
You're okay up there. So as far as the movie go, me and my mom, we read the book. So it's the book it intentionally left everything ambiguous so you can actually come to your own conclusions with those questions that I had asked. It wants you to make up your own conclusion of what you think may have happened or whatever. It didn't tell you if they were actually, if she pushed, fell, but it brought up those questions also. And they also, in the book, the author also says she alluded to the homosexuality aspect of it, but it doesn't mean that they were, but it doesn't mean that they weren't. You know, it's up to you to make your own interpretation of how you saw, the relationship and how they were passing. If they were actually passing if both of them were passing as white, or if they were also passing as straight heterosexual also. Because when her husband, he kind of had an inkling when he was reading that letter. Remember, he took that letter out and was reading it, and at the end, what he looked at her and what he said, and what he said at the end, and he kind of looked at her like, and he had that look on his face like, were you and her like having, were y'all like, yeah, he kind of he kind of had that look on his face. But the author said she intentionally left that, open for your discussion so you can decide for yourself what all of that was.
Well, listen, you never know. We're going back to those times, so you probably might get a couple looks like that, but like
Well,
that.
I'm gonna be around because my ass is gonna be gone. I done seen a little. I done seen a few horror movies. No, you're not gonna just get me. You're gonna have to work for me.
Look, it's haunting. These are haunting ghost looks. I know that they're just haunting ghost looks. Those are called haunting ghost looks to me. But I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean,
if I sit up there and walk to your ass and talk and be like, "I love the devil, bitch," you gonna leave me alone then?
I doubt if he leaves you alone. He probably still get in the shower,
Some niggas be like, damn, shit. Oh, fuck. Jesus gonna forgive me. Come on. Man.
Speaking of shower,
I was about to say, I'm so glad. I'm surprised your ass wasn't in the shower because every time we on this live, you be in the shower. You conveniently get into the shower.
It's because every time you're on live, because I always exercise, I'm like, Bugs, I'm gonna be prepared to go to the shower. So, but I'm still gonna listen to you, you know what I mean? So all the energy and the vibration and all that other stuff and what you're talking about and great context of everything that you were talking about in the videos and stuff. Yeah, it's really nice.
But you be in the shower in I can't stand the rain. We be hearing the rain, the raindrops falling in the background. And then we hear him talking about some, oh, Bubs. Ooh, Bubs. Wow, Bubs.
No, it's because of certain things that you say, like for instance, when you were talking about your ex-boyfriends and stuff like that, how you was getting freaky geeky with them and stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, oh wow.
You know about him?
Like, but his voice too. His voice it marries it together. It marries it together. Like it's like a marriage of what he was talking about, how he be, doing the thing and stuff like that. So it's like, it's like a marriage. You know what I mean? So it goes together.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, okay, yeah, let's go.
All right.
And T over there smiling too. Ain't his ex blowing him up? Like, damn, I miss you.
I'll call him when I get off of here. I told him I would call him back, whatever. He lives down in Silsbee now, and since we were down there in Houston, and we actually drove to Beaumont. Me and my friends drove to Beaumont to the graduation, even though our hotel was in Houston. We drove to Beaumont, and then and he lives in Silsbee, and Silsbee is only like about 15 to 20 minutes away from Beaumont. So I texted him and and told him I was down here, and then I was and I told him I was going to pop in and see him. So we went over there and saw him, and and then so he just called me last night, and then he called me again today. So but it was good. It was good.
You saw,
Oh no, it was good.
I'm just playing.
We were together for like 8 years, so we were.
Well, shout out to you being in long ass relationships. My longest relationship was 2 years, and that was back in 2009 to 2011.
Congrats.
Yeah. No, I met him when my son was 5, so he was here for 8 years, and me and him was raising my son together for like 8 years. And then, after we broke up, but then it was me again just by myself. But before him, it was just me and my son. And so I met him when my son was 5. And then he was also, when I met him, he was married, but they weren't together. They hadn't been together for like maybe, I think 2 or 3 years or so, where they had been
so they were like separated. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he got a divorce while me and him, we, I think it was maybe about 6 or 7 to 8 months or so later, he moved in. He moved in with me at my other house, and then he got a divorce while he was married to me. And then we had this house built where I live at now. When we had this house built, and we were here for so we were here in this house. He was in here with us for about 7 years because he was in the other one for a year. And then, now he's down in Silsbee. So I just hit him up and like, hey, then we, hugged and, cried a little bit, and did all, did that type of stuff or whatever. And, just had a good old conversation and stuff. So then he just called me. He told me he was going to call me. He said, I'm going to call you later, when I got back here to, back here to Dallas. And then, so he called me, and then he texted me when our show was getting ready to start, saying, what you doing? And I said, I'm getting ready to do my show. And then he says, and I told him I would call him after I get through with the show. So that's it.
You got a lot of stories, man. You definitely got a lot of stories.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I really like that fish thing with the fish in it.
You said what?
I'm just watching the fish. They're really nice.
Oh. Yeah, they're ready to go to bed. I'm gonna have to turn the light on them in a minute. They sitting here looking like, give me some more food. Since you got us up to say.
That's too bad. No more food for you.
My munchies been kicked in. I'm about to eat me something after this damn live shit.
Did any of y'all see that the movie Wicked, the musical Wicked that came out in the movies? Did any of y'all see that?
No,
okay.
Not yet.
Okay, because that has so much colorism overtones to it. It was so much it was racist and a whole lot of political parallels and all that stuff. But it also
Wicked based
on
on
all that colorism in there, huh?
Isn't it Wicked based on? Hold on.
It's based off of the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Yeah, it's based off of the Wizard of Oz, the like
You got some water?
1939. I think it was the 1939 version. Not the one with Dorothy. It was based off of the book the Wizard of, the Emerald City or whatever the hell it was called, but it was based off of that. And it had so much symbolism, and it had so much colorism running through it, where because she was green, and it was related to like
She was always green.
Us being black. How they talked about us, like they're black, dark, they're dark and so and so. They kind of used that, had a lot of that in there.
But she was always green, even from the Michael Jackson Wizard of Oz to the White Wizard of Oz. She was always green.
But they told the story. They told the story of how she became green. She was born green, but they told the story in The Wicked of how how she was born green, because her mother was actually having an affair with the wizard. But it's dark. It's actually, the book is really dark, and the movie is a musical, but it has dark overtones, just like Bub was talking about. His upcoming show.
With its dark and overtones.
It had a lot of dark overtones in there too, because it wasn't all fairy tale like that. How it is in the Oz thing. But anyway, I guess y'all ready to get up out of here? Or
I got to get up early in the morning to go to the gym.
Yeah, I gotta take these calls back and check on this damn script.
Okay.
But this was good. I like this, because I was wondering. I was like, we gonna have another one. I'm like, I hope I don't miss it. But this is good. I always enjoy these conversations. And Jay, it was nice meeting you. Hopefully, we get to see you come back again.
Likewise, most definitely enjoyed it. It's my first time. Had a good time.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see Joseph down in Florida just in what is it, a couple of weeks from now?
Yeah,
we'll be
17
down in
days.
Florida, him and our other friends. We'll be down there, partying it up, getting into trouble probably.
Ooh,
as long as it's some good trouble, that's all that matters. Make sure.
Yeah. And a 305. I holler at you, man.
All right, Joseph.
I'm asking you all, and next time you do another one, send me the link. I'm gonna pop on.
Okay, and it's I usually always put the link in my in the thumbnail description that I'm doing, because you can always go to my channel too and click on it. It'll bring you it'll bring you right in there. But yeah, I'll send it to you.
No doubt. All right, y'all have a good one.
All right.
Later.
All righty. I'm gonna play my little outro here. I'm gonna play it's like a 9-second video of Wicked, because she's green, and it has a little colorism in it too. So I'll just, as we get up out of here, bye world. Thanks for joining us here today on Tit for Tat, This and That, and good night, Dallas, and thanks for joining us. And leave your comments, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Leave it in the chat, and I'll get back with you. They'll get back with you if they see your comments and stuff. Go over and subscribe to their channels, Bubs the God. You can catch him on YouTube, IG, Twitter. Oh no, yeah, Twitter and what is it? TikTok.
Rumble. TikTok
Rumble
and Rumble.
and Rumble. TikTok and Rumble. Yeah, got content all over the place. So check him out. He's got very good content there. Check out Miss Stevie. Styles by Miss Stevie Daytime. And Deshaun, he's got a channel too. He don't do much on it though, but not on.
If you got a song that you want to know if there's a secret message in the song, send it to Deshaun and he'll find the message for you.
Right. He does have some content out there. So.
No, I actually put video games up there a couple of times.
Yeah, I see the video games all the time. But you do have one video up there where you were talking about an issue. So I saw
more of that. That's why I keep telling him, like, we need you to do like more of those type of videos.
Yeah.
You got a voice, man. And Deshaun, and we gonna get ready to go because my munch is kicking in. But no, Deshaun really sends a lot of information, and he knows a lot of people. Like I said, I was telling Jay earlier that me and you, T for T, that's how we connected because of Deshaun.
Right.
So
I met you
man,
Deshaun.
use your platform and your voice. You got a voice. You got a camera now. You already know how to live stream now. So it's like it'd be nice to come over to Deshaun's house. Now I'm gonna have to probably
I
sit
don't
next
know
to.
how to do it, because the thing is, how do I bring y'all in there? Now I just put in StreamYard for the first time, and
Well,
I'm trying to
we
figure
can
out.
help you with that.
I can walk you through it if you need me to.
Yeah, and they also have videos on YouTube as well to kind of give you like the beginner's introduction into the stuff. But when we go to Deshaun's house, I'm gonna sit by the door because baby, Deshaun gonna try to drag me to. You want to come in the shower?
Drag you into the shower?
I'm gonna go pee. And he gonna be like, damn, Damon from Friday after next, lock the door and shit.
And you know, I met Deshaun through my channel when me and Charles was doing the lives. Deshaun, he'd come into like most of our lives. Deshaun was in there.
That's awesome. Deshaun be everywhere. Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
And he was in my live introducing me to people. It's like, you need to go over and check out so and so. And Deshaun was always in my live.
He be tagged.
And he be commenting, just going off.
And he does share because there'll be times where I'll see it or whatever, but it'll be like if he like even under like other people, like for example T.S. Madison. I know she probably be like, who the hell is this Bubs the God? And T.S. Madison, I can't wait for the day you discover who Bubs the God is, because you gonna love me, because I know you like short niggas and I'm one hell of a good time. You know what I'm saying?
And Deshaun was unconscious. I saw him at the last minute. I didn't see him at the beginning. I didn't see any of y'all, because I came in kind of late. But I saw Deshaun in there. I said hi to him, but then Conscious was getting off at that time. He was already ending his live. But I said, hey, Deshaun. But because I saw your comment when you popped up, and I heard.
He be making it rain a little bit sometimes. I'd be like, ooh. Hey.
Yep. I do.
A little bit, just a little.
And
no shade. No shade.
Yep, making it rain.
All right, guys.
Okay.
And thanks everybody. Thanks everybody who was in commenting today. Harold, Calvin, Joseph, which is Jay, and Calvin is I forgot what name he has in there, but I forgot what his screen name is, but Calvin. And just everybody who was in there commenting today, appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming in. Juan, yes. Cecil is Calvin.
Oh, it is okay.
Yeah, that's Calvin. And all the people who've come in and chatted, appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody for watching, and people who are going to watch it later. Boss Man came in, the Objectivist podcast. Go check out him. He puts out a lot of political stuff. Commentaries. It's good too. So, but yeah, bye world. Now I'll play my little outro here, and then we'll get up out of here. And I'll see y'all in the short stack over on IG. That video sends me. It takes me out. That ending just always takes me out. I love that ending, and with that cake flowing like that, it's giving me drag.
Andrew Caldwell.
It's be drag.
He is worthy to be praised. We'll praise his name.
Oh God.
Okay, guys. Good night.
All right.
See y'all with the short stack. Bye.
See you.